ahead of my time. Y'all niggas should've left for my 9. Bust a shot, hit the cop, and that's a federal crime. But before I go to jail and do the federal time, eat my wife's pussy, incredible edible dime. Petro said, fuck it, you can do it again. Let the scat blow, fucking now I'm losing the frame. Sean Price is the best around. Niggas Ray Charles with it, doing the damn mess around. I will back out the iron and press this clown. I will smack fire for lion and wet this clown. No joke, rock him all law. Fucking drive by me and I'ma pop at your car. Listen, push that crack, push that rap, good. When I push that lack, you look at that hood. Wanna know who the fuck I'm signed to? What difference do it make, bitch? Listen to the tick.
Bitch, they give a fuck what you're thinking. Fuck your thoughts. I'm God, and bitch you now.
Yeah,
and bitch you now.
Listen, I'll be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga from the psycho ward. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga, insane nigga. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga from the psycho ward. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga, insane. I'll be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga from the psycho ward. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga, insane nigga. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga from the psycho ward. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga, insane nigga.
Hotter than my hobby, selling, global belling, career belling, Escalade, 3 braid, beard wearing. Fuck it, I thug for free and thug to eat. Niggas call me hog head cause I love the cheese. Gangsters, hustlers, pimps if you follow me. Let me see you put them hands up like a robbery. I solemnly swear to stay down to slang the seed. I spit in the name of the streets.
I'm gonna stay fly. I'm gonna bust. On my hood up high.
From the city they call AOB. What y'all know about the DOG? I keep my peeps with a bag of treats. On the streets my nephews beat that beat and keep that heat. In the cut and indiscreet. Me and Dub C crippin' cousins in this industry. A lot of y'all pretend to be. Wanna see friends with me. And then wanna sleep with the enemy. Want some, get some, bad enough, take some. Suckers popping off, I'm about to take one. Break son, make done, don't want none. And just cause we talking, what you doing sleepwalking? It's not just a dance, it's a way of living. Now if you're sleepwalking, you're best to see crippin'. And that go for kids too, and R&B singers. Nigga, quit crip walking if you ain't a gangbanger.
I'm gonna stay fly. I'm gonna bust. On my hood up high. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna rich ride. I'm gonna ball. On my hood up high. I told a woman I don't love her, but she wants to go. I told another that I want her, but she wants to hold. I ain't a hater, I'm a player, so I fuck them both. In the name of
this is for them genius, the best in my East nears. Both sides stream nears. This is for them DJs, coast to coast moving and spinning on them turntables that bomb Peruvian smashers. That's trappers for cash and dumping blunt ashes out of the mess classes. This is for them riders, riding for the limbs. Ghetto ass sneers on them big shiny rims. Flash in your bag ass, you're bringing the massacre. Dropping on your trash stick, another hood classic. Dump the ghetto Heisman, senior Mo Cabbage. A stream year living on CEO status. Unlike the rack, Def Jam, cock your back. Recess is over, I want my spot back. Who's the next out the city to blow? Coming at him in the pink coat and Stacy Adams, you're looking at him.
I'm gonna stay fly. I'm gonna bust. On my hood up high. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna
at you. How we do? Primo, Jigga Man, history in the making. Let's go. I spit the murderous, my murderous shit. I keep it gangster, get your gangster. Feel me? I spit that Brooklyn. Yo, career crook, nobody rap Brooklyn like me. Jigga Man, volume 3, I'm packed looking like me. Stop the presses, baby girls, drop your dresses. BK, lick a shot for Big Pop in heaven. Ever since I came through, niggas got the impression everything I drop, out of the question. Stop the guessing, it's hot, flow's proven. I pack cause my dough's moving. My whole crew up in this motherfucker. We spray corners, standing like you got a cape on you. Fine, you'll be wearing a black suit a long time. I put your crew in hard bottoms. The priest is like God's got him. He never did nothing to nobody, but them boys shot him. Brandish iron, outlandish buying Bentley coupes, not bragging, just simply the truth. We all from the ghetto, only difference we go back up in D&D on this primo track. Listen, I'm so gangster, pretty chicks don't wanna fuck with me. Iceberg, slim baby, ride rims. I'm so gutter, ghetto girls fall in love with me. You know them well, by the name of Jigga. I'm so gangster, pretty chicks don't wanna fuck with me. You can love me or hate me. I'm so gutter, ghetto girls fall in love with me. Rockefeller, lock the whole block down. Wednesdays I'm up and shine, cheetahs Monday night. I'm fucking with the model chicks Friday night at light. So I'm cruising in a car with this bougie broad. She said, Jigga Man, you rich, take the do-rag off. Hit a U-turn, mom dropping you back off. Front of the club, Jigga, why you do that for? Thug nigga to the end, tell a friend, bitch. Won't change for no paper, plus I've been rich. 88 been hustling, Lennon been crushing them. Women been fucking them, huh? You see, I live for the love of the street. Rap to the ruggedest beats. Whole closet cluttered with heat. I spit that murder, that Brooklyn shit. Furthermore, ma, we tote guns to the Grammys, pop bottles on the White House lawn. Guess I'm just the same old Sean. I'm so gangster, pretty chicks don't wanna fuck with me. Iceberg, slim baby, ride rims. I'm so gutter, ghetto girls fall in love with me. You know them well, by the name of Jigga. I'm so gangster, pretty chicks don't wanna fuck with me. You can love me or hate me. I'm so gutter, ghetto girls fall in love with me. Rockefeller, block the whole block down. I'm from the M to the A, baby, RCY. So it's hard for me to let the velocity die. Niggas see me in the streets with no bodyguards, just two big guns that'll body your squad. Cause niggas be scheming on me, probably y'all. Think Jigga's a joke, nigga? Hardy hard. Spit Brooklyn every time I bust. Radio's gotta play me though I cuss too much. Magazine said I'm shallow, I never learned to swim. Still they put me on their cover cause I earned for them. Soon as I sell too much, watch them turn on him. Cause that seems to be the shit that I earn for them. I spit that murderous. Every time a verbalist, iller than verbal Kenneth or old dog and menace. I'm ill, start to finish. I rip apart contenders, I'm hot. I'm so gangster, pretty chicks don't wanna fuck with me. Iceberg, slim baby, ride rims. I'm so gutter, ghetto girls fall in love with me. You know them well, by the name of Jigga. I'm so gangster, pretty chicks don't wanna fuck with me. You can love me or hate me. I'm so gutter, ghetto girls fall in love with me. Rockefeller, block the whole block down. I'm so gangster, pretty chicks don't wanna fuck with me. I'm so gutter, ghetto girls. Yeah, bump, yeah, with me, yeah, bitch, yeah, Jigga, yeah, Primo, yeah, gangster, yeah, niggas, yeah, Brooklyn, yeah.
We should control the politics and the politician in the community where we live. We should control the businesses and create employment opportunities for ourselves. And the social philosophy of black nationalism only means that we should do something to uplift the standard and the level of our own society and put it on par with others.
We want black power.
How can you tell black people to be nonviolently and at the same time condone the sending of white killers into the black communities? It's something wrong. We are going to control our communities by any means necessary.
It's the midweek madness, here the news unfold. Political tactics to sell me BS, but none sold. Psycho hits hard in a system that's dumb old. When he speak, it gets heated, so we gotta come cold. soldiers going through life with stories untold. Introspective journeys begins after the sun rose. Hood tales of the city echo through one soul. Strapped with knowledge, so watch Black Power unload. Logic and reason breaking through a door. Speak truth, the power that we can't ignore anymore. Streaming like rivers with the baddest flow. Screaming Black Power, ready to change the status quo. Black power in his veins. No gods or masters for breaking heaven's chains. Great city born, where conscious thoughts collide. Speaking black empowerment, the truth he never hides. Straight not crooked, because he never been ons. In the summit keeps it 100, just like 10 dimes. Psycho echoed ancestors who thought this was the end times. Revolution won't be televised, but written in rhymes. Logic and reason, breaking through a door. Speak truth, the power that we can't ignore anymore. Streaming like rivers, with the baddest flow. Screaming Black Power, ready to change the status quo. Logic and reason, breaking through a door. Speak truth, the power that we can't ignore anymore. Streaming like rivers, with the baddest flow. Screaming Black Power, ready to change the status quo.
Alright. Peace and Black Power, family. It's your boy Psychopath Black Action. Know what I mean? With another midweek madness. What's really hood out there, family? Know what I mean? Let me get some ones out there. Let's make sure everybody can hear me clearly before I start building on this. Let's see. Let me get some shout outs real quick while I'm waiting. Let me see. Shout out to New Kim, what up? Let's see. B1 for life, what it do? Let's see. Lou, what's good with you? Cellular account, what's going on? L Little Indian Feather, Pigeon Feather Bay, what's good? Hotland Hurts, what's going on? Unsunken One, what's good? Let's see. Mika, what's going on? Let's see, who else? Cynical One, what's good with you, sis? J. Kyle, what's good? Corey, what it do? Marcel, what's good with you? Who else? Aisha Baz, what's going on? Ooh, boy. Me and Aisha Baz got a game going on this weekend. $240 on the line. Wish me luck. Let's see. Regular Joe, you already know. What's up? Let's see. Who else? Low Value Man, what's going on? Let's see. Woozy One, what's good? Shout out to everybody else out there that might be listening or slide through. If I missed you, my bad. What's good, family? What's going on? I got a couple of things. Actually, I got a couple of things I want to talk about, right? A couple of things. First things first. I forgot to do this on Monday because I was so caught up with football, and I actually started extra late, so I didn't really want to touch on this because I felt like the show would have ran a little bit longer than I wanted it to. And but I just want to touch on this real quick. The fuck shit, because you know this story broke last week, and I intentionally played the opening music that I played on purpose, right? Like I intentionally did that, right? Because you know, like I literally needed to address what happened last week. Because I remember when this story broke last week, I wasn't too quick to jump on the gravy train. I was like, I was on wait and see mode, right? Because there was a lot of shit sounded kind of funny with this whole, you know, Jay-Z and Diddy accusations that was being thrown around, you know what I mean? And just as I suspected, it was a lot of fuck shit going on when people was peeling back the onion on this so-called claims, right? That's why I didn't jump out the window with the tiki torches, ready to, you know, burn down Jay-Z's career and everything. I was like, wait. we need to find out what's going on here. This shit reeks of ambulance chasing fuck shit, right? It just reeked of it, right? The shit didn't sound right from the rip, right? Like, but anyways, let's get into this real quick and let me just update everybody just in case you missed some of this. Some people might still be running with rumors from like Jaguar right batshit crazy ass. You know what I mean? People are really people are picking the most pseudo people on the planet to back up they motherfucking they got their hatred towards celebrities and shit. Like, I get it. I don't fuck with celebrities. Well, let's put it this way. I don't worship celebrities, right? Let me say that. I don't worship celebrities, right? I understand celebrity worship and that being a problem and everything else, but boy, there's another side of celebrity worship, and that's these goddamn celebrity haters. And them motherfuckers can be just as bad as the celebrity worshipers, right? Like, these motherfuckers, like, they opposite ends of the spectrum, right? You got one group of people where the celebrities don't do no wrong. You know, they just ass kiss and make excuses for all they fuckery. These motherfuckers are deified, everything else. And then you got this side over here where these celebrities are all fucked up. They all demons. They all worshiping Satan, doing rituals and blood sacrifices and all kinds of wild shit. So, you know, you get both sides of this spectrum, and it's kind of like, but the tiki torch side of this spectrum, I was like, yeah, y'all got to calm down. Like, I don't know about this one. Like, y'all, I don't know what, like, y'all should probably wait and see. Like, cause I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait and see because this shit reeks of fuckery, right? I just wasn't buying it from the beginning because it just sounded weird. But anyways, I digress. Let me let everybody know what I'm talking about. Let's get into it real quick.
Okay, so Chris Brown, just over the weekend on the 14th and the 15th of December, he performed at F&B Stadium in Johannesburg. And listen, 92,000 fans.
Wow.
That's a record-breaking crowd.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to give y'all that.
It was 92,000 each night?
I think it was one show, right?
I don't know if he did one or two.
No, on the 14th and the 15th, he did two.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
92,000, 2 shows? Wow.
No, that was all together.
Oh, wow.
Yep, 92,000.
Dropping
That's
the cruise bombs for Chris Brown.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
That's why the internet is a liar. The internet will have you thinking people they hate folks and you know, certain people are canceled, blah 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 blah, until you see them, you know, have 92,000 people come out for them.
All
then
over
what?
the world, they love this man. So let's just stop playing with him. Okay?
All the comments were like he killed it too. They say he did an amazing
Absolutely.
show.
We can expect nothing less but that. Okay, Jay-Z accuser admits to inconsistencies. So the lady who accused Jay-Z and Diddy of sexually assaulting her sat down with an exclusive interview with NBC, and she asked to be off camera to remain anonymous. And during that conversation, she shared the story of when she went to the VMAs back in 2000 for a chance to see her favorite celebrities.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs' limo driver who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, you know, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time.
NBC also revealed some more.
Well, goddamn. She sat up there, well, that's one lie, right? Already lied. Talking about some motherfuckers came and dropped them all that, like, that never happened. When that happened, right? Like, they ain't even co-signing this fuck shit ass story, right? I mean, listen, man, y'all gotta stop jumping out the window with these little silly rumors, but let's continue.
A representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time.
NBC also revealed some more inconsistencies in her story.
At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns raping her while a female celebrity watched.
JC comes in and me. Well, at that point, I was fighting, trying to get away from him. And he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the
After the alleged, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, "I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind," he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview.
I know that's right. I know that's right. The father isn't even co-signing this fuck shit. The father was like, no. I never drove to New York City to pick up my daughter and drive her home and not utter a word to her about her being out in the middle of Manhattan at 13 years old by herself. And I think I would have remembered that. And never happened. This is her daddy saying this, right? So we gonna act like the father is in on the scheme. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all might believe that, but let's continue.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, "I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind," he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. "I have made some mistakes," she said. "Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me."
Can we wrap this foolishness up? What is this nonsense?
Yeah,
man?
it is crazy. Tony Busby made a statement. That's her lawyer. He said, "Because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress." And
So they telling me that he's saying to us that he interrogated her so much, and she told that story, and that's what he decided to put front and center after a crazy interrogation.
He also said too that.
What's up, Lauren?
Oh, hey y'all, hey. So which is crazy because he also said too that because she came from another law firm, they're still looking into it.
Turn your mic up a little bit. Just push your mic up. Yep.
Oh, because she came from another law firm to them, that they're actually still vetting her. That the first law firm vetted her and then sent her over.
It sounds like BS. The fact that, her dad doesn't remember. The fact that she said she was talking to somebody, had a conversation with somebody that wasn't even in the state. Like, this is just getting crazy. And what's really pissing me off is if Busby knew all this and you let her do that interview as your client, like, come on.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
Yeah. Jay-Z, Rock Nation released a statement from Jay-Z, said today's investigative report proves this attorney Busby filed a false complaint against me in the pursuit of money and fame. This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon.
And at some point, we got to start holding the networks responsible for even giving people like this the time of day. You could just put them behind a curtain and let their shadow talk.
Let it.
Well, that network did expose her though, because the network made her sound even sillier than she sounded before. So the network did expose her. That network seemed like they did it from a fair point of view.
Most of the times when you have an accuser on, you have to, if anything's inconsistent, you have to come out and say it. CNN has done that before too.
How about don't even put them on if their story is inconsistent? How about when you interview them beforehand? Why even do the story if you know that it's inconsistency?
Because I mean, if we're gonna be honest, it's because people going to tune in. It's Jay-Z, it's a celebrity. It's filed in court, so you have something to stand behind because it's the actual, you know what I mean?
But I think this helps Jay. I think this helps Jay-Z and his team.
And then what does he do now in response to this?
So basically, they've already done it. That night, they sent the letter to the court, and Jay-Z's team basically said that this filing has no factual basis. So remember, I was mentioning that Tony Busby, you read part of the statement. In addition to what Jess was saying earlier, he came out and said, look, she came over from another law firm. She was vetted by them. We're still looking into her claims. But by law, as an attorney, when you file something, this is what Jay-Z's team is saying in this letter they wrote to the court the night that this interview came out. You're supposed to vet it where you know it's you going to stand behind the fact that it's factual, right? And the minute that you realize any inconsistencies or anything is wrong.
Yeah, don't backpedal now, motherfucker. Don't backpedal now, motherfucker. You was talking big shit last week. Motherfucker. Shit was all good just a week ago, motherfucker. Shit was all good just a week ago. But now, you like, well, hey, man, technically she's from another law firm and they was the ones that vetted her. We was just in the process of, doing our own vetting and everything else. But so we was kind of just rolling with what they was saying over here in the other firm, and they was the ones that co-signed. Nah, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. Shit was all good just a week ago. You know what I mean? The fuck out of here, son. I ain't even hearing you. Not hearing you. Go fuck yourself. This is fuck shit. I'm suing you, nigga. I'm suing you now. Now you gotta come out of pocket for your fuck up and slandering my motherfucking name and dragging my name through the mud. This is why I said Jay-Z did the right thing fighting this shit and not just paying them, bowing down and paying a motherfucker. Motherfuckers like, well, Psycho, you do understand why people do that shit. No, I don't. No. I don't understand why these celebrities just pay these motherfuckers off. No, I don't. And this is why I don't understand. Because if a motherfucker don't got a case on you and it's all cap, make these motherfuckers prove that shit. So they can look just as dumb as this silly ass bird did on NBC. You fight that shit and you clear your fucking name. You don't bow down and pay these motherfuckers. Motherfucker, what? Hell no. Like I said, if you pay these motherfuckers, you guilty in my eyes. Because if you're not guilty, this is how you supposed to handle that shit. If you're not guilty, this is a prime example of how you are supposed to deal with these situations. You don't bow down to shit. You don't pay off shit. You fight that shit. Clear your fucking name. That's what you do. Don't bow down to these goddamn terrorists. You don't negotiate with terrorists. The hell we talking about it?
You're supposed to withdraw that. So they're basically saying to a judge, like, if you move forward with this is a violation of his rights. It makes no sense. It's not consistent. It's not factual. They're asking for it to get dismissed. So now they have to wait to hear from a judge on that. And they also pointed out the inconsistencies and mentioned, number one, like when she mentioned that she went to the White House, which was supposed to be Diddy's house, there's photos that they can prove that are out that show Jay-Z and Diddy that night at an after party at Lotus nightclub, not in a house. So there's a several different things that they're adding in addition.
There's really no houses in Manhattan.
Exactly. This shit is crazy. She said, first of all, they got pictures of these motherfuckers that night, not even in a motherfucking house. That's the first thing. The second thing is, anybody that's familiar with this area will tell you having a big, huge mansion-sized type house does not exist in motherfucking Manhattan. That shit is a... Who the fuck got some big-ass mansion-sized house in Manhattan? What? I said, what? Where you do that at? Them shits do that. There is no such thing as a mansion in the middle, beginning, or the end of fucking Manhattan. Let's keep that shit a stack. If a motherfucker in Manhattan has a motherfucking mansion, that motherfucker lives in Jersey. Let's keep it a fucking buck. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Anybody that lives out here knows if a motherfucker in Manhattan says he got a mansion, that motherfucker's address is in New Jersey. Let's keep that shit a stack. What are we talking about? We was in a mansion in Manhattan. She said that. And they called this shit some vetting process. Like right then and there, the vetting is over. Wait. So you're saying that they picked you up in a limo and took you to a mansion in Manhattan? Right. Yeah, security. Yes, please. Can you remove this lady, please? Yes, please. Yes. My bullshit meter is about to, go on overdrive. Can you please remove this lady, please? Thank you. What the fuck are we talking about right now?
I don't know if people know that there's no actual houses like that. There's like smaller brownstones and stuff like that.
On YouTube, they say I own a house that's 146,000 square feet in Manhattan.
I saw that.
Oh, wow.
That's what made me ask you.
My mama asked me about that. In Manhattan.
In
Manhattan, 146,000
They said you got one in
square
Hamptons
feet.
too.
You know how much that would be?
They say I got a $10 million crib in the Hamptons too.
Really?
That's what they say on YouTube.
I was like, what
Can I use it for the weekend?
Sitting me next to some money.
Can I use it for the weekend? Sure. Thank you. Thank you. But I pray that Jay-Z has the money to do this, right? He's a billionaire. I pray that he goes all the way with this, because this will stop so many people from doing false statements like this. I hope he goes all the way with this. Go at Busby. I hope he goes all the way with it. He got the bread.
There is one thing that I wish they would ask this young lady, because they keep skimming over this.
Oh my God.
They said, because there is an eyewitness according to her. She said it was a female celebrity in the room. Yes. I want them to ask her who it is, because I know she's going to say Dolly Parton. It was that. Wow. She gonna say something so stupid. You're gonna be like, what? She said it was a female celebrity watching. Who's the female celebrity, ma'am? Just for.
I forgot it was celebrity A and B in the room.
Yeah.
Just for giggles. I want to know who's the female celebrity.
And the friend that drove up died.
Yes.
So you can't ask her.
No, I guarantee you, if she told us who the female celebrity was, everybody would be
like, Nappy, if you want to count them old makeshift 1919 mansions out in Harlem that's been converted into bodegas and every motherfucker. If you want to count them little cheesy ass fucking old ass motherfucking buildings, fucking mansions, you want to count that, then yeah, I guess there are mansions in Manhattan if you want to count that bullshit. We start talking about driveways, motherfucker. She said she was in a driveway. There ain't no mansions with no driveways in Manhattan. Them mansions you're talking about don't got near driveway. Where the driveway at? Show me the driveway in them motherfucking mansions. Show me. Them motherfuckers ain't got no goddamn driveway. That shit's a makeshift, old school, 1878 mansions that motherfucking, I mean, like them shit, if you want to call that shit a mansion, okay, I guess. There's a makeshift ass, old ass, decrepit mansions. Ain't no motherfucking. We are talking about modern mansions with driveways. Where you could put a tiger in the backyard, shit like that, like with grass and shit. Them mansions you talking about don't even got grass. You want to count a mansion with no grass? I guess. The modern mansions got grass and driveways, like she was describing, and that shit right there do not exist in Manhattan. Y'all mansions are old school 1868 mansions with no grass, no driveway. Shit got transformed into a bodega. Like stop trying to make Manhattan something that it ain't. And that shit is not Mansionville. It's not. It just isn't. Like, but well, if you want to count that, if you want to count the bodegas, you got it. But my bad, I digress. Let's continue.
Like, all right, come on now, wrap this
Well,
up.
Now
It's time to go.
she gonna say somebody that's dead, so you
If
can't
the
ask.
case is dismissed, and you know what I mean, it's dismissed. But until then, we gotta see how this plays out.
Yo, that would be crazy. Who's the female celebrity? Amy Winehouse? You'd be like,
That's what
what?
she's gonna say, Amy Winehouse.
She'd be like, come on
But
now.
you can't ask her.
Come on now, young lady.
All right. Well, that was Jess with the
Jess
mess.
with the mess.
Thank you, Jess.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The breakfast.
So there you go, family. I just wanted to catch y'all up for that. Roast New York a little bit about not having no mansions, at least no real ones with grass and driveways. I'm just fucking around. They really don't got mansions though, not in Manhattan. But I digress. But yeah, family. So let's get into this Bad Joe's situation. Actually, it's not even just a Bad Joe situation. There was a meeting, right? And this was the NYT journalist panel put together by the New York Times. And this happened close to a week ago. I wanted to talk about this earlier, but again, I got jammed up, backlogged this, but I'll get a chance to talk about it today. I kind of want to go over this a little bit and listen to what these motherfuckers guys say. You got some white wingers and you got some liberals up in here, and they kind of discussing the election, what happened, what both parties should be doing moving forward. Can they coexist? This, that, and the third, that type of rhetoric. So some of y'all might have seen it, some of y'all might not have, but I want to kind of go over it for the people that did and actually give my point of view on some of the things they said. It was an interesting conversation, so I wanted to go through it. So let's get ready to get into this real quick, family. And yeah, I'm going to chime in for time and let y'all know what I think. Let's go.
We have 90 minutes for people to get in their expertise, and I would like this to actually be a conversation. So if any of you want to jump in and add a thought at any time as we talk or jump off of something someone else said, please do. Just give me a minute to introduce you so that people listening know who you are when they're not watching. And I'll just take a moment to reintroduce at that point. And let's get started with the person to my left, Anita Dunn. Given the breaking news of the last few days, my first question is to you. President Biden for months said he was not going to pardon his son, Hunter. He did so on Sunday and did so with a sweeping pardon whose language tracked in modern times only with President Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon. Why did it cover such an expansive time period, and how long has President Biden actually been considering it?
Oh, Maggie, thank you for such an easy question to start the morning. And I can only say that I don't speak for President Biden any longer and was not party to the conversations that were held about this. But let me just start by saying that I do not believe, and I don't think most people believe, that Hunter Biden should go to jail. And that, he had a serious addiction, that he broke the law, that he has pled guilty to that he.
You just said he broke the law, but he don't deserve to go to jail? And you said most Americans feel that way? According to what poll you took? I don't give a fuck if that motherfucker get locked up or not. Let his ass get locked up like anybody else. Who the fuck is he? Who the fuck is he? If anybody else got caught doing the same shit he got caught doing, they asses would be in fucking jail. So let his ass do his time like the next motherfucking man. I don't give a fuck. Who gives a fuck about that motherfucker going to jail? Who cares? Got me fucked up. That ain't me. I don't give a fuck. You do the crime, you gotta do the time, motherfucker. Do the time.
He has been held accountable and has actually been publicly pilloried in a way that very few people who commit these crimes have ever been pilloried. So he has paid a certain price. He's also someone who has turned his life around, who has been sober now since 2019, who has a young child and is actually going to be a grandfather. sometime next year. And had this pardon been done at the end of the term, in the context of compassion, the way many pardons will be done, I am sure, and many commutations will be done, I think would have been a different story. So I will say, I absolutely agree with the president's decision here. I do not agree with the way it was done. I don't agree with the timing, and I don't agree, frankly, with the attack on our judicial system.
Can you say a little bit more about that in terms of the attack on the judicial system? Because that was what was most striking to people who criticized this pardon, not just the point you just made about the timing, but the specific attack after months of saying that he would respect the judicial process.
So I think the president's statement has to be taken at its face value. And clearly, like everybody else in the world, he has the prerogative of changing his mind. And that is indeed what he kind of said he did there. I think that, from a Democratic Party perspective.
Stop. That motherfucker was lying for years. For years. This is always the fucking plan. This was always the motherfucking plan. Stop playing with me, yo. So, he changed his mind. He ain't changed his mind. He did what he always planned on doing, which was giving his son a fucking pardon. This is the part that pisses people off. Y'all insulting our fucking intelligence, right? Stop insulting our intelligence like we don't know this was always the motherfucking plan. Like he just had some epiphany. Well, I'm going to do this now. I wasn't going to do it before, but now I've been convinced. Like, man, stop playing with me, son. What the fuck are we talking about? Like the lies. The lies is insane.
In his mind. And that is indeed what he kind of said he did there. I think that, from a Democratic Party perspective, as we were in the midst of the president-elect rolling out his nominees, and in particular, in the middle of a Kash Patel weekend, kind of throwing this into the middle of it was exceptionally poor timing, and that the argument is one that I think many observers are concerned about a president who ran to restore the rule of law, who has upheld the rule of law, who has really defended the rule of law, kind of saying, well, maybe not right now. So, Maggie, as I say, I agree with the decision to pardon. I absolutely think that Hunter deserves a pardon here, but I disagreed on the timing, the argument, and sort of the rationale.
Was this pardon discussed while you were still in the White House, or was this all new information for people after the fact?
I was never part of any pardon discussion when I was at the White House, beyond the question of what do we tell the press if they ask about this? And there was a one-word response, right, which was no. And I think if you read the news reports and the reporting around this, it's very clear that the White House was really not part of this process. It was a process that was done very much internally with the family and with the defense lawyers. Mm-hmm. So that's a different issue.
To Jason Miller, do you expect now that President-elect Trump will go ahead and pardon January 6th arrestees and detainees as he has suggested he would? And is he going to point to this pardon as why?
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Starting right in.
Yeah, thank you for being here to join me in celebrating President Trump's victory. So it's good to see all of you again. But going right at that, I think what you heard with that answer is a big part of the reason why President Trump won. I think people are sick and tired of the way the justice system has been politicized under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. When you go back and look at the polling in this race, and I think this is a big deal, when you talk about who's the bigger threat to democracy, a lot of people said that was Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, because they saw what happened, the way that everything from the DOJ, the FBI was turned on its head and used to attack a political opponent. So obviously you think that the Hunter pardon is pretty ridiculous, but I don't think anyone's actually surprised by it. Now, to your direct question, Maggie, regarding the J6 prisoners, the president has said over and over, and he's even said this since the election, those will be looked at on a case-by-case basis. And I think also when we talk about who's going to be doing that, I think Pam Bondi is a very serious player coming in to take over the DOJ. I think it's going to be definitely a change in tone and focus than we saw from Merrick Garland, where the entire thing was politicized. So I'm glad to get the politics out of it. Let's go through and make sure that everybody is treated equally. And that's where we go.
I just want to stay on that for a second. Two things that you just said. President Biden's Justice Department was politically weaponized against his own son. That's been an argument that has been confusing, and I'm just hoping you can explain what that means, number one. But number two, just one sec. President Trump has talked about retribution, and he's talked pretty openly about investigations into people who investigated him. So how is that different? And I'm genuinely asking and hoping you can answer.
Yeah, well, taking those in reverse order, the president said very clearly his only retribution or revenge will be success. And that's what it's going to be. And that's on day one, he's going to secure the border, going to drill, baby, drill. He's laid out a bunch of those. The Green New Deal, it's on its way out. But to the DOJ, and the very clear weaponization of the DOJ against President Trump, against a political opponent, we've never seen anything like this in history. We saw the first 4 years with President Trump, there were no attacks, there was no going after Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton or any of his other political opponents, but we did see that under Joe Biden. It's going to be in the second Trump term, be just like it was in the first, where justice will apply equally to everyone.
Just want to say we've been joined by Kellyanne Conway, who was Trump's 2016 campaign manager and remains a political consultant. Van Jones, just sticking with, sorry, Anita, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Maggie. Can I just jump in for 1 second?
Anita Dunn.
You know, I think many things have been said about Merrick Garland, and people have been criticizing him from both sides. Judge Garland, he was a judge before. But I think the one thing that people really would not say about Merrick Garland is that he has been a political attorney general. The only person who's been convicted by this Justice Department who had a special counsel was the president's son, the president of the United States. And Jason, I just have to say that I think that when you look at this attorney general, this Department of Justice, that of all the things you can say about it, the one thing you really cannot say is that it operated as a political arm of the White House. I can attest to that.
Respectfully,
Jason Miller responded.
Anita, did you miss the last 4 years? Did you miss the illegal raid on Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the illegal raid on Mar-a-Lago?
That's not what the American people think.
Right.
Even if you go to the poll,
Kevin
and not
McCarthy.
Republican or Democrat, I think it was maybe 3 months ago, independents believe the greatest threat to democracy was Joe Biden getting reelected. And that was independents, not Republican or Democrat. So what you say, you can believe, but that's not what the American public believes.
There's a difference between what the American people
Sarah
think and
Longwell.
what's true. So the idea, I don't know why, I don't know what we are, why the defense of Merrick Garland, sure. Donald Trump lied about an election being stolen and then sicked a mob on the Capitol. And it's funny that you roll your eyes at this, Kevin, because you're the one who went down and resurrected him. You want to know what happened just now in the 2024 election? Is we elected the most dangerous criminal human being, corrupt human being that America has ever elected. And Kevin, you helped him. You're the one who went and got him after.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay.
And in doing so, you enabled this. And so Joe Biden, the idea that Joe Biden's Justice Department is the problem here, as opposed to Donald Trump, and the fact that he tried to overturn an election and sicked people on the Capitol, is, I don't know if people let you get away with that in rooms all the time, but you should never be allowed to get away with it.
So you do realize
Stop,
President
Jason.
Trump won the popular vote.
Stop.
I do.
And the American public.
Okay, y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me now. All right. My bad, family. My bad. I had to fix this shit. My shit just conked out. All right, we good. Yeah, but like I was saying, family, she's a little bit spicy right now, isn't she? She up here talking crazy. Like, she was going in. Yeah, I know. It was. Yeah, I know. I'm here. Yeah, it was what you call it? My shit started fucking up. But I'm here. But yeah, family, she talking like a little, she ready to set it off. right? She ready to set it off. She's like, yeah, motherfucker, you was down with all that January 6th fuck shit. And now it's your fault that we got this criminal in play, ready to, you know what I mean, do this, that, and the third. Like, it's your fault. Let's get back into it.
You do realize
stop,
President
Jason.
Trump won the popular vote.
Stop.
I do.
And the American public weighed everything in consideration, looked at his first term, they looked at the disaster of Biden and Harris over the past 4 years, and they reelected President Trump with historic numbers.
I wonder.
That's because they want the economy.
Put a pin on this. I think the question really was about the Justice Department being politicized. That was your assertion, Jason.
Yes.
I think the real issue here is that it's hard to make the argument that the Justice Department is politicized for one particular party when the party in power's president's son was the one who was also prosecuted. So one could make the argument, maybe both sides make the argument, that there has been some politicization or maybe over-politicization in the prosecution of Biden's son. I understand the argument that you're going to make, but it's very difficult to say that the Justice Department is politicized in one direction when the son of the president. But let me just two more things, real quick. I just want to finish. Quick.
Stop.
You also made the point. I just want to put a pin in this. You said it's very convenient to be able to pluck one thing that Donald Trump says and say that is the thing that he said. He said retribution will be his success. He also had talked about putting Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. He talked about hanging Mark Milley. I mean, so it's convenient to pick the definition of retribution, but he has said so many things, Jason. You can't just pick one of them. The final thing is President Biden's attack against the judicial system undermines the confidence that all of us have in the nonpartisan nature of justice. So in the pardon of his son, he should never have undermined the justice system in the same way that, frankly, those of us who look in appallment at the Trump administration were looking to Democrats to uphold a standard of a partisan and nonpartisan nature in Justice Department. And so that undermines the entire system, the integrity of the entire system for all Americans.
I want to move on to a related but different topic. And again, back to Anita. Was President Biden right to run again in the first place after suggesting that he would be a transitional figure to a new generation? And did he drop out too late?
I'll answer that question before she does. Yes, he was wrong to try to run again. And yes, he dropped out too late. All right, so there go to your answer. Let's see what she got to say.
So he said that once. I'm going to go back to to what Margaret just said about you can take one statement somebody says one time. He said that one time in 2020, and like any president, once he got in there, he discovered there was a lot to do. Let us not forget, Maggie, we had a extremely successful first 2 years in terms of extraordinary legislative accomplishments, including the infrastructure bill that nobody had been able to do for years, including the Inflation Reduction Act, poorly named, but monumental in terms of what is going to accomplish for the American people, and a number of other things. And then a midterm election that was far more successful than anybody believed was possible, given the overall economic status of the country. So given that, his decision to run, which was his decision, because people make that most personal decision themselves, was not one that was really controversial within the party at the time. And it was a pretty logical one for him to make. There were things that he felt he still needed to do, and he thought he was the right person for the job. That's why people decide they want to run for the presidency. So, the way it unfolded, I think people will spend the rest of their lives kind of looking at this election. But I'll say that the decision that he made was not a decision that was really a tough call for him, I don't think, given the fact that he felt he was a successful president with a vision of where he wanted to lead the country, and he had just led his party through midterms that no one predicted would be as successful as they were.
Van Jones.
Look, I think winning the midterms cost us because it gave a false sense of confidence to Joe Biden and to a lot of D.C. Democrats. Most people in the party didn't feel that way. People were shocked that Biden wanted to run again and disappointed, and the polls showed it immediately. It wasn't like there was some big mystery about that. Look, this is a party that loves Joe Biden. loves Joe Biden. You never hear people talk about a politician with as much love as they do, but people were disappointed that he decided to run again. And the red wave didn't show up in the midterms, but it sure showed up later. I also just want to say, stuff we were talking about before. Look, man, people are scared, Jason. I mean, you're very confident in President Trump, and I appreciate your confidence. I got people who are literally terrified because people take the things that he says seriously when he says he's coming after folks. Every one of the people who just mentioned are people who are hiring lawyers, people who are thinking about leaving the country. And so if he didn't mean it, then I wish he would come out and say that. And I hope you tell him to do that. And there's also been reporting, he didn't go after Hillary Clinton, but there's been reporting that he did go after John Kerry and others, and he was being restrained. So just understand there is a level of concern on this side. The last thing I just want to say is that, there's a reckoning inside the Democratic Party. Kamala Harris promised us freedom. Well, she delivered it to us because now we're free from having to run anything in Washington, D.C. That's not what we were signing up for, it's what we got. And I hope the party takes a chance to look at the fact that we pushed all our rebels out of this party. We had a rebellion in our party in 2016. It was called Bernie Sanders. You had a rebellion in your party in 2016. It was called Donald Trump. Your rebel won, our rebel lost. And then since then, the rebels in our party have been pushed out. RFK was a rebel inside of our party. He wanted to run against Joe Biden fair and square. The DNC wouldn't let him, pushed him out. You can walk down the list. Don't forget, Elon Musk was a Andrew Yang Democrat 4 years ago. He's out. You can walk down the list. Joe Rogan was very favorable toward Michelle Obama. He was a Bernie guy. He's out. So there's something that's happened in this party where the rebels in this party no longer feel like they have a place. And we've got to be able to talk about that stuff honestly. I love Joe Biden. Joe Biden picked me out of the puppy pile and gave me a chance to be to work with you guys. I love him. He should have walked away and let other people in this party step up to the bat. He didn't, and we paid the price.
Van and Alexis Miguel Johnson, just answer a question of how Democrats could have won. What could they have done differently?
Yeah, Van Jones was spot on. He was spot on. These motherfuckers dropped the ball like they was bullshitting around. Like these motherfuckers tried to play they same little Democratic games and everything else. And like I said before, when you got one side going to the extreme other side, you gotta counteract. Like he said, like in 2016, that was key. Because I agree. You had two rebels on both sides up for the presidential race, right? Bernie on the left, Trump on the right. The left kicked out they rebel, right? Kicked out they rebel, pushed him to the side, phased him out for their normal corporate, par the course Democrat, and the Republicans allowed they rebel to run amok. And we've seen what the results have been since, right? But yet the Democrats still don't get it. They don't get it. It's a new era. The days of the old school politicians is done right now. It's done. People are tired of that shit. It's a new era. And I'm going to break down why that is like that today opposed to why it wasn't like that before. We're going to get into that because it's coming. Just wait for it. Let's continue.
Favorable toward Michelle Obama. He was a Bernie guy. He's out. So there's something that's happened in this party where the rebels in this party no longer feel like they have a place. And we've got to be able to talk about that stuff honestly. I love Joe Biden. Joe Biden picked me out of the puppy pile and gave me a chance to be to work with you guys. I love him. He should have walked away and let other people in this party step up to the bat. He didn't, and we paid the price.
Van and Alexis Miguel Johnson, just answer a question of how Democrats could have won. What could they have done differently? I mean, Van sort of answered this by saying not have Joe Biden, but given the race that was over the 3 months, what could have been done differently, if anything?
Look, I mean, I definitely hear how the midterms gave us a false sense of hope. I do think that the fact that the midterms coming on the heels of Dobbs, right? The power and the anger and the outrage that people had really was underestimated, and I think we continue to see that through 24. I think abortion made not only the midterms competitive, clearly, but it also kept Kamala Harris competitive because she stepped into that role, and for 2 years has been an incredible surrogate and messenger meeting with folks across the country to really understand the impact and really frame the conversation around freedom. I do think that the economic messaging as it relates to it, abortion was not the only issue, it was a central issue, but connecting, even using abortion as a way to talk about the economic constraints that families were experiencing and understanding the decisions, the daily decisions that they were making, from, buying a box of cereal to, making decisions about if, when, and how their families would survive, I think was critical. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more on the economic messaging that would have helped ground folks in and connecting more, obviously, to men and men's concerns, which I think came a little late.
On that note, Anita Dunn, if President Biden had stayed in the race, do you think he would have won?
I don't think anyone has any way of knowing. Okay, and I think that for everyone who can say, if this person had been the nominee, if this had happened, if that had happened, those of us who've done presidential politics know a lot of things happen in presidential politics you can't predict. I think that the contours of the race didn't change as much as people thought when you had President Biden step down and the vice president become the nominee. And I do want to say something about the vice president. She did a terrific job. Okay, she just did a terrific job. I thought that she was a leader.
Okay, this is one delusional feminine. This is one delusional feminine. Like, she sitting up here saying she felt like Kamala did an excellent job. And this is why they motherfucking lost. And that mentality is why they will continue to motherfucking lose until they all finally wake the fuck up. They be so far up each other's assholes that they don't realize that shit stinks. Like, literally. Like, they're like, she up here sleep-splaining. She up here sleep-splaining. What are we doing right now? We sleep-splaining? Sleepy Joe, we splaining away with this motherfucker? Felt like he would have won and Kamala did a great job and what? Did you not pay attention? Are we not paying attention here? You people are like, these motherfuckers is nutty. Nutty.
I'm going to say something about the vice president. She did a terrific job. Okay, she just did a terrific job. I thought that she was a leader. I obviously hoped she would win for a number of reasons, but one reason I truly hoped she would win was because I thought a great legacy for Joe Biden would be having put a woman in the pipeline so that when the opening occurred, a woman was the natural choice for people, which is, of course, something that I think is helpful to everybody. Having said that, and going to actually your core question, what could have been done?
See what I mean? She wanted this so bad because Kamala was a motherfucking woman. See these gender first ass motherfuckers? She ain't care about nothing else besides getting a woman in motherfucking office. That's the only thing she cared about. She didn't give a fuck about her policies, whether or not she was a good candidate, whether or not she's a fucking alcoholic. She ain't care. Like, she don't care. None of that shit matters. She's a woman that would have been president, and that's all her gender first, feminine ass cares fucking about. And it's a lot of feminists out here who share these sentiments. There's a lot of motherfuckers out here voting for Kamala just only because she was a motherfucking woman. Only because of that. Right? While motherfuckers running around. And you know who the motherfuckers are? Who only voted for Kamala because she was a woman? The same motherfuckers who told you that if you didn't vote for Kamala, it's because she was a motherfucking woman. Let's keep it a buck. Because they was the only ones who was hyper-focused on the fact that she's a fucking woman. It's the motherfuckers who actually wanted her to win because she was a fucking woman. That's what's going on. And then they tried to, so what they did was project their fantasy of having a woman president onto you, right? If you didn't share this fantasy with them, then that means you must hate women. And that's why you didn't vote for her, because you hate women. Because you don't have the same fantasy that they have. This is the narrative that was being spun and why it was being spun. Right? So all these motherfuckers that called you misogynist for not voting for Kamala, these are motherfuckers who only vote for Kamala because she's a motherfucking woman. Let's keep it a buck. These motherfuckers are misogynists, most of them. Most of them misogynists. Let's keep it a stack. But let's continue.
For people, which is, of course, something that I think is helpful to everybody. Having said that, and going to actually your core question, what could have been done? When you have a race as close as this one was, and it was not a landslide, I mean, the president-elect has less than 50% of the vote now and is going to win by 1.5 million.
It wasn't a landslide. It wasn't a landslide? That motherfucker won every fucking swing state. The motherfucker had the highest percentage of Republican votes in, he had an uptick in Republican turnout in every state besides like 3 of them. The motherfucker gained more votes than any other motherfucking Republican in the history of Republicanisms. How was this not an ass whooping? What is you delusional? No, this was an ass whooping. This was an ass whooping of epic proportions. This was a political career killer. Like, she can never run for president again. She's done. What are we talking about right now? She's like, yeah, it wasn't a blowout, by the way. What? Oh, yeah, you already know what we're dealing with. This chick nuts.
Choice for people, which is, of course, something that I think is helpful to everybody. Having said that, and going to actually your core question, what could have been done? When you have a race as close as this one was, and it was not a landslide, I mean, the president-elect has less than 50% of the vote now and is going to win by 1.5 million popular vote, which is a victory. He won.
And more decisively than either of the previous 2 elections for either winner.
That's not Joe Biden won by 7 million votes.
Yeah, not in the Electoral College.
But I'm just saying he won. Okay, but when you have a race this close, right, when there's 250,000 votes across 7 states, then you can spend a huge amount of time saying this tactic, that tactic. But I think that, going to something Van said, that it's an opportunity for the Democratic Party to take a step back and to in a way that we have not for a while, and it's a healthy thing, to actually ask ourselves, not just how did we communicate our message, should we have been on Joe Rogan, but what are we saying to people? And are we listening to them, or are we expecting them to listen to us? Because I do think that the party itself needs to look at these results, look at what happened in terms of voting groups. And I know you're going to get to that, but I think that this is, it was not a wipeout the way 1980 was, or 1994 was, or 2010, or some of the, I'm old enough to have been around for, Ronald Reagan carrying 49 states. It wasn't that. But, and we even probably picked up a little in the House, so the House will be super close. The Senate is what it is. It was not that big of a victory. However, it is a message to this party, right? And you want to say, no, we got wiped out. We did not get wiped out.
I didn't say. I just laughing.
I did.
So, yeah,
I did. I said you got wiped out.
You want to say we got wiped out.
Don't yell at me.
Yeah, I'm saying it too. Y'all got y'all asses wiped out, annihilated. It's like, yes. Ass was whooped that day. Yes. Ass was whooped. Was no bubble gum being chewed. It was just straight ass whooping. They beat the fuck out of you motherfuckers. Yes, they did. They beat the fuck out of you motherfuckers. It was embarrassing to watch. I'm not even a Democrat. It was embarrassing to watch. This is disgusting. What are y'all doing over here? Y'all can't even make this race close. This is bad. Yes, it was an ass whooping. She's tripping. She's delusional. This is delusion. This is democratic delusion that runs rampant in this fucking party.
Probably picked up a little in the House, so the House will be super close. The Senate is what it is. It was not that big of a victory. However, it is a message to this party, right? And you want to say, no, we got wiped.
Even Van Jones, who's a notorious Democratic shield, has come to the point where this has become laughable. He can't even keep this facade up any goddamn more. Van Jones is like, he's laughing like, okay, this is stupid. This is dumb. Like he can't even hold it back anymore. Like, it's bad if Van Jones is like, yo, chill, you doing too much. If Van Jones is telling you doing too much, you might want to reconsider your whacked out ass motherfucking position. Your feel-goodery that you're talking right now. Because this is feel-goodery. It makes her feel good to believe that they didn't get their ass whooped that night. That makes her feel good. That they gave the old fighters chance and they almost pulled it out. They were just this close. If only they just tweaked this and tweaked that, they would have overcame this. Like, they were this close. Just this close. They barely lost. Like, wait, what? This chick nuts.
It wasn't that. But, and we even probably picked up a little in the House, so the House will be super close. The Senate is what it is. It was not that big of a victory. However, it is a message to this party, right? And you want to say, no, we got wiped out. We did not get wiped out.
I didn't say. I just laughing.
I did.
So,
yeah, I did. I said you got wiped out.
You want to say we got wiped out.
Don't yell at me.
It's a wipeout.
So there are ways to evaluate.
Major Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
President Trump increased his vote total in 9 out of 10 counties in this country.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In the places where the race was most closely fought, the battleground states, things were relatively close, but not all that close. The margins were bigger than they were in 2016 and 2020 on the Trump side. In places where the race was not thoroughly joined, Illinois, New Jersey, California, where people had just a general sense of direction and attitude, they voted for President Trump. That's an important thing for Democrats to ponder and to look at. When you're collapsing in New Jersey, when you're collapsing in Illinois, you're coming to a near collapse in California. There is something that you need to address and take seriously. One thing I would like to say about this question of justice being politicized. I've never covered a member of Congress or a governor or a senator who thinks any investigation from any U.S. attorney wasn't politicized, straight up. Matt Gaetz thought that the Trump Justice Department investigation into him was politicized and said so, okay? Politicians always run to politicize justice when they're in the dock, all right? What President Trump said to the country is, political popularity should immunize me from these charges. That was the question he laid before the country. The country gave an answer. You have to respect that answer, whether you agree with it or not. He said, I will put this in the forum of politics. I will delay everything judicially, as is my right under due process. Delay is a tactic. It is a long-running tactic of Donald Trump. Everyone who brought these cases should have known that delay and that a political appeal would be the playbook. That's exactly what happened, and he got the verdict politically that has immunized him now legally.
Kevin McCarthy, we're going to say something.
55 counties flipped to Trump. Some have not ever voted for a Republican. Lake County, California hasn't voted for a Republican since 1984, if you want to remember that. So no, it wasn't close. This was an amazing vote where it took place. When you look 2 years ago, Democrats should have looked 4 years ago. When Joe Biden won, he only won by 48,918 votes. And you know, for the first time since 1994, not one Republican incumbent lost in the House. Everybody thought they beat 15 Republicans. We beat 15 Democrats. So it was 4 years ago you knew you had this problem. In the last election, you had abortion, the Supreme Court, nothing to do with Joe Biden, and you had a redistricting, which made fewer competitive seats. So it wasn't something that Joe Biden did to make some election. And you lost the House. So I don't know when you lose a House as somehow you were successful in an election. To Merrick Garland, you're saying he did something he didn't go after. No, had the whistleblowers from the IRS not come forward to the Ways and Means Committee, Hunter Biden would not have gone forward to be prosecuted because he was getting a plea deal. He was getting waved away the last 5 years. They didn't go forward. So Merrick Garland got pushed because whistleblowers came forward, not because he was some holy man as an attorney general. And the last thing I would say, when you look at this election going forward, she was always going to lose. If you look at the pardon, the way he wrote it, if you look at running for re-election, I was on the other stage a year ago. And I talked about why Joe Biden should not run by mental capacity of personal experiences I had. The vice president came on a few people after me and criticized what I said and said his age had no determination of going forward. These decisions of the pardon and running again were all decisions made with this president, with his family. And every time he's sitting with his family, he's made the wrong decision. And nobody on this table would have thought that he wasn't going to pardon him. So we thought he was lying to us the entire time, and I knew they were lying to us about his mental capacity every time I met with him.
Look, it's extraordinary that you had
John Carl.
You had a situation where 70% of the country was saying they didn't want a Trump-Biden rematch, where the majority of Democrats were saying they didn't want Joe Biden to run again, and nobody really stepped forward. Now, in terms of the promise to turn over to the next generation, be a bridge to the next generation, which he said once in Michigan after the primary in 2020, with Kamala Harris on the stage, with Gretchen Whitmer on the stage, and with other potential, people seeing as the bridge to me. I know, and I'm sure other reporters here have heard that some of those took it as a promise. They thought Biden was really going to do one term and out, regardless of whether he's, and he did, to be fair. He was asked in the election whether or not he would commit to serving only one term, and he did, and he said no. Yeah. But look, Biden took specific steps to ensure that it was going to be extremely difficult for anybody to challenge him. He changed the primary calendar.
Yeah. Yep.
He took some of his potential rivals and put them on his campaign committee. This is the stuff that any incumbent president preparing for re-election to do. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then made it clear that there were going to be no debates. And, there were going to be no debates. So they were shut off. But ultimately, it's on those future leaders of the Democratic Party, and the bench was deeper than it had been for a long time, not to ultimately step in and say, I'm going to take him on. Nobody stepped forward to take him on. And that's the question the Democrats have to ask. But it's not whether or not Biden should have dropped out first, but why nobody other than Bobby Kennedy, Marianne Williamson,
Dean Phillips.
None of these major figures, the governors, came forward and said, I'm going to take on Joe Biden.
But there was something else going on at the time. There were articles where Democrats were saying, please dump Kamala Harris from the ticket, change your vice president. That's a parlor game that's played every time there's an incumbent president who's eligible to run for a second term. But let's all be honest, and Van Jones and I talked about this at Milken Institute in early May. Let's be honest. Part of the reason that President Biden could not step aside is people didn't have confidence in the competence of Kamala Harris. And then all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that she has worked hard. She does speak well.
Yeah, now we know why. Now we know why people struggle with the competence of Kamala. Now we know why she ran through all those staff members over the course of just one term. And the reason why is, well, she likes the strawberry daiquiris a little bit too much, you know what I mean? She be back there throwing back those Shirley Temples. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? She be back there drinking those gin and tonics. Oh, my bad. She was listening to Snoop Dogg in college. So she actually into that gin and juice. I mean, laid back with her mind on her donation money and her donation money on her mind. Let's keep it a motherfucking buck right here. I'm just saying. So now we know what the whispers was really all about. Yeah, she got an alcohol problem. But anyways, I digress. Let's continue.
Step aside is people didn't have confidence in the competence of Kamala Harris. And then all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that she has worked hard. She does speak well. The American people saw it differently. And I'm relieved to hear that very few lessons, it sounds like, have been learned by my Democratic colleagues.
Oh, wait, I'll get my turn. Oh, wait.
I hear yours, but let me just say this. Maggie, I think that this election was also about moments that Donald Trump has this sense of the culture. He just gloms onto a cultural zeitgeist and leads it. So I think him, rather than banning TikTok like Joe Biden did and Kamala Harris did, by extension, he got on it. And Forbes magazine wrote an article maybe 2 weeks ago, tops, saying of the 10 top TikToks of 2024, 8 came from the Trump campaign, 5 in the last week alone. So he's in the garbage truck, he's at McDonald's. You're watching Joe Rogan live, but then other people are watching it through TikTok. He goes to East Palestine before any official in the Biden-Harris administration, before the Secretary of Transportation, before the sitting senior senator, now the ex-senator of Ohio, Sherrod Brown. And he's honoring the police officer who's slain in Massapequa, New York on Long Island, while Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden are all at Radio City Music Hall at a fundraiser. He beats Kamala Harris to Georgia and North Carolina, where people are in pain, where everything that they've had and loved ones have been washed away literally, and Kamala Harris in San Francisco at a fundraiser. So people see this. They know what they see, they know what they hear, and I think the big distinction in this last election, two I'll say quickly. One was the Democrats would have won if they got away with convincing Americans to believe what the Democrats told them was real and true and authentic, rather than what they saw with their own eyes and heard with their own ears, what was real and true and authentic. Everything from a sitting president's obvious mental and physical lack of acuity, agility, ability, but even the vice president, whose official schedule that they stopped publishing a while ago had little to nothing on it most weekends and then most days. So you can't you can't create a candidate out of somebody who is going to eat and own all of these things.
Yeah,
Second thing I want to say is, very quickly, I listened for 26 minutes, very quickly, is that putting Harris on the ticket, I think, also sealed Biden's fate, and him thinking that he was FDR, hanging out with John Meacham, and instead of realizing you're here to be the post-COVID caretaker. You're here after George Floyd's murder. The idea that he was going to govern as Bernie Sanders, who had already been pushed out of the party as somebody who beat Hillary Clinton, folks, in 23 contests. That's a real primary opponent. And this is the election where Americans are saying, no more. You are not going to pigeonhole and narrowcast me and tell me what to think, for whom to vote, and how to feel based on my age, my gender, my race, my sexual orientation, my religion, my political party registration, my past voting behavior. And whether it's Ann Seltzer's phony poll or phony focus groups of junk saying that Kamala Harris is going to win, attacking people like Kevin McCarthy, thank you so much for having the courage in 2022, you and President Trump, and the RNC, to have run these candidates in California and New York, because without that, we would not have had the majority in the House of Representatives. You had the courage to go into blue states and go into purple districts and do that. I think they misread the mandate, Maggie, in 2022 of the midterm. A lot of those terrible candidates fell short. They should have. They weren't great candidates. But the Republicans won 3 million more of the popular vote than the Democrats. They misread a mandate for Joe Biden, who wasn't even invited on the campaign trail. They sent out Barack Obama, not Joe Biden, to campaign for candidates. So you've got to, we have to level set with the public and stop pretending that these counties didn't flip. And last point, every state.
How many last points you gonna do?
I got this. Well, they're all good ones.
They are great.
I'm not here spinning. They're really great
They are
points, and I'm not here spinning and pretending that this election. A lot of this conversation, respectfully, sounds like the election didn't happen yet. We've talked about the same stuff over and over again. The fact is this. I said it a year ago, I'll say it again because it was just raised. The Democratic Party right now, every day they wake up, it's still January 6, 2021 on the calendar, they get an electric vehicle, they get an abortion. You're out of touch with the public. This election was a rejection of wokeness, and people, every state went more red except Nebraska and Washington State. That is a sweep. That is a mandate. That is President Trump coming into office and the American people saying, please make my life safer, more secure, more affordable. Please get us out of these foreign engagements. And I think the always wrong, never Trumpers, who had unlimited money, cost the party, cost the Democratic Party, which they say they're not even a member, another presidential election.
Van, hang on one second. I'm going to let Sarah Longwell respond.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for pointing out that I do a lot of focus groups. I do, and they didn't say.
We all do. We just don't publicize them.
They didn't say Kamala Harris was going to win.
Trump.
Okay.
No,
you have stage 5 Trump derangement syndrome.
Yes, I get it. Sure.
No one is figuring.
Yeah, that's right. I think you guys are bad people who are bad. Yes, are bad for the country. Yes, that's right. Who attacked the Constitution.
Stop.
Donald Trump.
Stop.
Yeah, people.
Stop.
Yes, that's right.
Wow. We got a whole cat fight going on right now. It's getting serious up there. It's up. It's up. You know what I mean? Like, she like, who you talking to? Who's you guys? What do you mean, you guys? Who's you guys? Break that down. You got Trump derangement syndrome, stage 5. I was like, God damn, stage 5? That sounds pretty severe. Like stage 5 Trump derangement syndrome. That sounds pretty extreme. She was like, yeah, you're crazy. You're nuts. Yeah, you're deranged. You got Trump derangement syndrome. Who's you guys? Who you talking about? Who? I was waiting for her to smack the shit out of her. She was like, you know what I mean? She was G-checking her, like sizing her up. Like, who? Say that shit again. Who's you guys? Who? She wasn't playing. I told you this shit was up. This shit was up.
Focus groups, I do, and they didn't say.
We all do. We just don't publicize them.
They didn't say Kamala Harris was going to win.
Trump.
Okay.
No.
You have stage 5 Trump derangement syndrome.
Yes, I get it. Sure.
No one is figuring.
Yeah, that's right. I think you guys are bad people who are bad. Yes, are bad for the country. Yes, that's right. Who attacked the Constitution.
Stop.
Donald Trump.
Stop.
Yeah, people.
Stop.
Yes, that's right.
This is.
Yo, she flinched at her and everything. Yo, I swear I thought she was going to smack the shit out of her. I thought she was going to smack the shit out of her. She flinched at her like, who's you guys? Like, what? Like, she flinched at her like, what, nigga?
You guys are bad people who are bad. Yes, are bad for the country. Yes, that's right. Who attack.
Right there. I thought she was going to smack the shit out of her.
are
Who's you guys,
bad
the
people
country?
who are bad. Yes, are
Yeah.
bad for the
Okay.
country. Yes, that's right.
Who's you
Who
guys?
attack the
Who's you guys?
Constitution.
Even the moderator thought something was going to pop off. She's like, chill. All right, chill. All right, everybody, chill. I'm about to have to put both of you on the back. I don't need no addies being dropped. You know what I mean? I don't need y'all threatening each other up here. I don't need no addresses being dropped. We ain't about to do all that. You know what I mean? The moderator even felt the heat. You know what I mean? Like that shit. Moderator's like, okay, guys, chill. Let's bring it back.
They're not even a member. Another presidential election.
Van, hang on one second. I'm going to let Sarah Longwell respond.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for pointing out that I do a lot of focus groups. I do, and they didn't say
We all do. We just don't publicize them.
They didn't say Kamala Harris was going to win.
Did they say Trump.
Okay.
No,
You have stage 5 Trump derangement syndrome.
We're
Yes,
on
I
a
get
podcast
it. Sure.
There's no
No one is figuring
Yeah,
out
that's
who-
right. I think
who's
you
talking.
guys. I think you guys are
Who's you guys,
bad
the
people
country?
who are bad. Yes, are
Yeah.
bad for the
Okay.
country.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
who's you guys?
To attack the
you guys?
Constitution.
Stop,
Donald
please.
Trump.
Stop.
Yeah, people.
Stop.
Yes,
No,
that's right.
this is what they do.
So here's the thing: the voters.
Just
Just let it, Kellyanne, let her.
No. I'm gonna. Because the thing is I actually agree with a number of the
Finish a
things
sentence.
Kellyanne said about the actual voters, which is that. And here's the thing: most of the independent voters, they were double haters, right? They don't love Donald Trump. Most of them hate Donald Trump actually, but they also, and this is an indictment of the Democrats. Okay, Joe Biden should not have run. He was too old, and every voter said it. It was in all of the data that Joe Biden should not be the nominee. He should have been a one-term president who was a bridge and let the party have a primary. That is the only thing that you can retcon at this moment and go back and say what would have been different. Kamala Harris coming in with 100 days left wasn't going to do the trick. And I think that she did. She so exceeded expectations, though, in terms of where the low expectations for her were. She increased her favorables, and that allowed Democrats to sort of go back to something Kevin McCarthy was saying. You know, they were able to make it extremely close in the House. The Republicans are still losing House seats right now. It's going to be like a 3-seat majority. They held on to a lot of places in the Senate where Democratic senators overperformed Kamala Harris. And so Donald Trump didn't have the same coattails. But what was happening? Is it because there's some great, thing about Donald Trump, or were people so angry about inflation, so angry about a lot of COVID? There's still a lot of COVID hanger. They were so angry about immigration. Democrats have no answer, no plan on immigration, and voters really care about it. And so, I think that, and when I say, there's a lot about what voters think that comes from the fact that people lie to them, right? They were lied to about the 2020 election being stolen. It's interesting to hear Kevin talk about 2020 right now and essentially in the frame that Joe Biden won, because that is not a given in the Republican Party. They lie to people all the time. Donald Trump is a professional liar, and as a result, but they are better at working the media channels. Democrats
So the people are stupid. You're sitting here saying the American people are stupid.
No, I'm saying you guys are better at talking.
I don't know what you guys is. It's a football team?
The Trump campaign? Trump went everywhere.
Ridiculous.
JD Vance went everywhere, right? They went on every podcast. They talked to every person, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't.
But isn't that a different point, Sarah? I mean, there is a point.
I got called on 15 minutes ago. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Van, hang on just one second. I just want to address that, though, because I do want John Carl to speak to this, and Major and Margaret after Van talks, but we're getting a little behind here. The issue of the media approach is actually a really important one.
Yeah.
The issue of the issues, immigration and coronavirus, which we haven't even discussed yet, and I want to get to. But Van, please make your point.
Okay, so look, guys. A lot of the stuff we're doing is the same stuff we do all the time. We got a chance to talk real here. I want to talk real. You guys shouldn't be as happy as you are because 2016 people voted for change because they were fed up and sick of it and gave Trump a chance. 2020 people voted for change because they were sick of Trump. 2024 they voted for change. They're probably going to vote for change a bunch more times because something is off, man. There's something really going wrong for real everyday working folks in this country. And I'm not sure either party has an answer yet. We know how to beat each other up when the other one's in power. But can we solve any of these problems? My perspective doesn't come from the focus groups. It doesn't come from sitting on CNN next to my beloved Anderson Cooper. I was on the ground supporting folks in Philadelphia, trying to get folks to vote. I was trying to help Jewish voters get to the polls in the Philly suburbs. And I'm telling you, we are way off. The entire political class is way off. First of all, digital is a new door knocking. You got to understand that. We were laughing our butts off at Donald Trump for suspending his door knocking campaign and letting Charlie Kirk and Elon do a bunch of stuff online. We said, these guys are idiots. These guys are stupid. Then you start knocking on these doors. You know what people come to the door with? Their phone in their hand. They're in a 24-hour digital surround sound that has nothing to do with CNN, has nothing to do with any stuff that we do. I asked my son, I got a teenage son, I asked him, who are the most influential people in the world today? I'm thinking to myself, he's going to say Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z. He says, Kai Cent, Aiden Ross, Jinxie, and Sketch. I don't know who he's talking about. I said, what platforms are you on? He goes, I'm on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. I said, that sounds like you need to go to the hospital.
Word up. I know that's right. He's like, yeah, Pops, they be on Kick, Twitch, and Rumble. He said, shit, that sounds like somebody need to go to the motherfucking hospital. Spoken like a true old head. That's some true old head shit. But hey, this is the era we in, bruh. Get used to it. But he told the truth though.
If he's gonna say Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z, he says Kai Cent, Aiden Ross, Jinxie, and Sketch. I don't know who he's talking about. I said, what platforms are you on? He goes, I'm on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. I said, that sounds like you need to go to the hospital. What are these platforms? I'm telling you guys, the mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms.
Oh, yes. Say that again. Say that again.
Hospital. What are these platforms? I'm telling you guys, the mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms. The mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. The mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream.
There you go. That's the realest statement made in this entire panel. The mainstream media is now the fringe media. The mainstream media is now independent media. That's just facts. That's just the reality of the situation. Independent media has took it over. Most motherfuckers listen to independent media and not mainstream anymore. Mainstream media is only really listened to by old heads that grew up listening to mainstream media. Motherfuckers that are 40 years old and under are not running to mainstream media to get their information. If you're 40 and under, your ass is running to YouTube, TikTok. Your ass is running to, not even Facebook, that's old head shit. Your ass running to motherfucking the gram, Snapchat, any other new little fringe motherfucking social media platform. They run into that. They're not going to mainstream media for the information. They just not. The people that still go there are motherfuckers that's like 50 and better. I would argue 60 and better is running the mainstream media for the information. Most motherfuckers are not running the mainstream media for information. Yeah, right, Corey. OnlyFans. Yeah, they run OnlyFans for the information. These motherfuckers, they cut from a different cloth. These new generations, like they different. You know what I mean? But yeah, I digress. But that's a true statement.
So that sounds like you need to go to the hospital. What are these platforms? I'm telling you guys, the mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms, there are people out there that are getting 14 million streams, and we're on cable news getting 1 or 2 million. And so there's a whole world out there. Kellyanne Conway, I hate to agree with her, but I do a lot of times. Donald Trump understood that and we didn't. And it's not just Democrats that don't. The entire political class is way off, way off, way off. And I'm going to tell you something else. Men are hurting, man. Men are hurting. And the feminist culture tells you, don't cry because you're the problem anyway. And the masculinist culture tells you, don't cry because boys don't cry. So you just aren't able to talk about how scared you are you can't provide for anybody. You can't talk about how scared you are that you don't understand your kids and what's going to happen to them. You can't talk about anything. So at least Donald Trump lets you have an emotion besides shame. And so, guys, we can sit up here all day long and do this talking point gumbo stuff that we do. But I'm telling you right now, you guys are going to be in trouble next. Because until somebody fixes these problems for real people, there is a rebellion in this country, and anybody who comes out and sounds like they aren't pulling their talking points out of Cracker Jack box will get a hearing, whether they're right, wrong, or otherwise.
All right, hang on one sec. Margaret Hoover, to Van's point about the media, mainstream media becoming fringe, which I'm not sure I quite agree with. But
you can't. Actually, given our surroundings,
right,
that's
but it is certainly true that the mainstream media does not have the impact it once was. What do you, John Major, see as the future for what reporting looks like as we go forward into the next Trump administration? And what is the approach that the mainstream media should take, considering controversies of the last term?
The underpinning and the foundation of a representative democracy, it relies on a free press. It relies on transparency. It relies on people observing what is happening amongst those who hold power and then reporting it. And not just reporting it. I mean, reporting, we don't have to think of in the traditional sense, but look, video cameras are everywhere now. We don't have to wonder whether, somebody was held down for however many seconds. We have a video of it. I think being able to see transparently on camera what is happening is part of the story. So I do think digital isn't not just the new door knocking. Digital is the new media. I mean, digital is how we hold those in power to account. And people who are in the digital space, who are capturing the moments where people who hold power, which is the trust of the public, that is how we hold people account. And then, so this is, and the New York, by the way, we're all doing this because this is not being broadcast on cable news. This is not being broadcast on television. This is being broadcast by digital. And so we're all moving there, even if we're a beat behind. But transparency is, reporting and telling the truth and transparency is how we hold those in a power to account.
Alexis Miggles-Johnson.
Yeah, look, as an organization that reaches millions of people every single day to have conversations around bodily autonomy, we are all on digital, right? So the idea that the Harris campaign was not on digital, that the IEs like Future Forward were not on digital and spending millions of dollars to reach those folks, to hire influencers, to bring them to the DNC, right? And have a totally different kind of outreach to young folks and people of color much differently.
Yeah, y'all paying motherfuckers to go digital, that's for sure. Y'all was paying motherfuckers millions of dollars to go digital and give softball interviews. Let's keep it a motherfucking stack. Softball interviews that everybody saw right through. Because this is social media, and social media is a little bit different animal than the platforms that you're used to being a part of, where you get to talk at people and they had to kind of just accept it for what it is. Whereas the social media, you actually have to talk to people and they get to push back against your bullshit. It's way more interactive, and y'all ain't the interactive type. Y'all the type that need to talk to people, at people and not to people. Y'all lack the ability to talk to people because y'all all liars. And people can smell right through y'all lying ass bullshit. Let's keep it a stack. But social media runs shit. You know, it kind of is what it is. Social media runs shit, not mainstream media. Them motherfuckers don't run it no more. People are sick of they fuck shit, sick of the lies, sick of the manipulation, sick of the narratives. We over it. Sick of the agendas. Motherfuckers are over it, dog. They over it. Independent media. That's where it's at. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Y'all motherfuckers are worthless as far as your opinions. Your opinions ain't worth shit.
Hire influencers to bring them to the DNC, right, and have a totally different kind of outreach to young folks and people of color, much differently than we have seen in the past. It doesn't mean that we need to know who Tank and Please and all the folks are, but they are out there and they are having those conversations. I think that the difference is, and I listen to Kellyanne talk about the rejection of wokeness. We also saw a closing argument that was grounded in white nationalism and supremacy and patriarchy and the Madison Square Garden fiasco. The idea that is what people are accepting, that young men are accepting that because of shame of their masculinity and how they are engaging. That's the emotion they're leaning into. I think is way more problematic in terms of what we need to be thinking about and bringing the next generation into this. So I don't think it's just a critique of mainstream media not giving the information. I think we are living in a very digital society, but one that is so polarized, right? That is created, wherever you're getting your media, it's not like your media, the people who are listening to Tank are not the same people who are listening to Joe Rogan, right? And so how do you actually bring them together and create the structures? That's what the parties need to be.
Why she keep mentioning Tank fruity ass? Is she talking about the same Tank? Is she talking about that same motherfucking Tank and shit? Why she keep using him as a point of reference? Pause. But please stop using him as a point of reference. Ain't nobody checking for that motherfucker besides maybe So I don't know why you keep trying to use Tank as some kind of point of reference. How you go from Joe Rogan to Tank? What are we talking about here? What are you talking about here? Ain't nobody checking for Tank. Joe Rogan get billions of fucking listeners. Don't nobody care about nothing Tank say until he say some wild ass fruity shit and then everybody start ripping them apart. Pause. You know what I mean? For being a goddamn low key fruitcake. Right? But ain't nobody checking for Tank. Nobody sit up here, stories break, and then motherfuckers be like, gee, I wonder what Tank's opinion is on this motherfucking topic. Nobody. Nobody sends them stories. Nobody sends Tank stories and say, yo, you should probably get on the gram and speak on this. Wait, what? Said no one. What is she talking about? Yeah, you're out of touch. You're another one. I'm out of here.
Thinking about this, certainly what the Democratic Party needs to be thinking about. How are you bringing people and fighting the polarization that seems to be locked into a different structure and one that is reinforcing, some very problematic identities, identity politics and othering politics that are very focused on hate and division. And that's what I'm deeply concerned about.
I want to, speaking of polarization, turn to Kevin McCarthy. Do you have something you want to say about polarization?
I thought you were going to let Jonathan talk. Okay.
Jonathan, do you have something to add?
I was just going to make a point on the media coverage. And there's been so much attention, Donald Trump's vilification of the media, enemy of the people, opposition party, fake news, all of that. But it was interesting to see the way Kamala Harris engaged with what the so-called mainstream media, which was for much of the campaign not at all. She came out of a very successful convention, and then almost went into hiding to prepare for her first major media engagement, which was a 20-minute interview with her running mate on CNN that came and went like that, and then went in to prepare for a debate. And she didn't not only did she not engage with Joe Rogan or all these alternative media you're talking about, she didn't engage with the major broadcast media, with the New York Times. And the complaints coming out of the Democrats were almost as strident as the ones coming out of the Trump campaign about the coverage, and yet there was so little engagement. Tim Walz, was chosen in large part, got on Kamala Harris's radar screen because of his effectiveness on cable television, and then he went into hiding. Did anybody hear from Tim Walz after he became the Democratic nominee for vice president?
Yes, we saw his disastrous debate, and I'd like to.
Well, you saw the debate, but you did. But my point is, Kellyanne.
Yo, old girl at the end of the table in the green, she has been the funniest motherfucker on this goddamn panel. She has been killing it. She's like, I see that disastrous debate. That was a disaster. That debate was a disaster. That was bad.
Into hiding. Did anybody hear from Tim Walz after he became the Democratic nominee for vice president? Yes, we saw his
disastrous debate, and I'd like to.
Well, you saw the debate, but you did. But my point is, Kellyanne. My point is, he didn't go. He didn't go anywhere. Even he went and he did his speeches. Even the little traveling press corps that follows the vice president or the running mate had almost no access to him, didn't engage, didn't take questions. I interviewed J.D. Vance time and time again myself during the campaign. He was everywhere. Tim Walz was in hiding.
Transparent and truthful. But I'd like to thank ABC News for giving a platform to Vice President Harris, because The View definitely did her in.
So one thing on the media.
Go ahead, Jason, and then Major.
Yeah, I think we're talking about a lot of very important issues, and I think Van probably made the best point that I've heard so far today, that the reason why people are frustrated is because their wages aren't growing, and they see the rich getting richer, and they see that they're working very hard and nothing's improving in their lives. Now, obviously, that had a very good 4-year run with President Trump, and what I think it's been a big part of the reason why he was voted back into office. But it's not just the fact that on their wage growth, they're also looking and seeing those clips on TikTok and on other places of the border being wide open. They're seeing the horrific and disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Some very serious things that people take as personal offenses that are impacting them while they're struggling to even, cashing out 401ks to even pay the rent just to get by. And they see illegal migrants being put up at hotels and being given their own communities. That makes people mad. And I think one other thing, too, on the media point, going to what John said, when you talk about President Trump and essentially his flood the zone approach with media being everywhere, we're talking about a lot of critical issues, but the thing that hasn't really brought up is the authenticity issue. And as a candidate, people wanted to have a beer with and talk about their economic future with somebody who doesn't drink and somebody who himself is a billionaire, because he was authentic, because he could speak to them in direct and plain spoken and without a filter. And when you look at the way that Biden and Harris tried to hide, then President Trump cut through, and it was very clear.
Major Garrett and then Anita.
So, Matt, you asked a moment ago about press coverage of the incoming Trump administration. Kellyanne knows this. John knows this. When we covered the first Trump administration, I told a lot of reporters, do not get emotional about this. Do not fall into this trap of critics saying you're normalizing Trump. The presidency is an institution. The country confers the normality of the presidency. Full stop. The occupant of the presidency is the president. And you cover the president, and you do it with curiosity and clarity and accuracy, and that's it. And if you get emotionally involved in it, not only is that journalistically erroneous, Trump will manipulate you. Trump understands your emotions much better than you do. Figure that out, people. Trump is someone who possesses, within the political context, supreme emotional intelligence, especially where reporters are involved. So that's one thing to level set. Kellyanne made a mention of culture. I just want to refer to something that Tony Blair used to say. Tony Blair said, when economic times are convulsive and people feel dislodged, they don't move left economically, they move right culturally. It was true 20, 30 years ago when Tony Blair said it. It's true now. And I've done a little bit of reading about Grover Cleveland because they are now matched historically.
You beat me to the punch on one of the questions I was going to ask you. So
it is not historically coincidental that the 2 times we have had non-consecutive re-elected presidents were times of tremendous economic dislocation. All right? The digital age is what we live in now. The Gilded Age was occurring during Grover Cleveland's time in office and others. Massive dislocation, massive convulsions, people feeling as if the world they knew is not only changing, but may never be there again. And they are uncertain about things. One thing I'll say about Grover Cleveland, when he was nominated in 1884, the second-day speech in Chicago said, "The people love him, quote, because of his iron will, but they love him most for the enemies he has made." Now, that was in a completely different context. That was about Tammany Hall and Grover Cleveland's New York political life. But you could say that about Donald Trump, and you could say that about Donald Trump from 2015 onward, the enemies he has made. And the American people keep looking at the people that are enemies of Trump and say, you know what, there's something about that that makes me side with him, despite all of the misgivings you...
Yeah, I totally agree with that assessment. This is how people view Donald Trump, right? This is how they view Donald Trump. A lot of people got smoked with the same people that got smoked with him, right? So it's more like, with a lot of these motherfuckers, it's kind of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend type mentality, right? Like, these motherfuckers don't fuck with Trump, and I don't fuck with these motherfuckers who don't fuck with Trump. I.e., Trump must be all right, because I don't fuck with these motherfuckers either, and they going after Trump, right? I sense a lot of that within Trump supporters, right? Like that kind of mentality. And I think that resonates with a lot of people. So I kind of agree with a lot of that assessment. I think that is the case with a lot of these motherfuckers. Not all, but a lot of these motherfuckers, I think that's the case. But let's see.
Looking at the people that are enemies of Trump and say, you know what, there's something about that that makes me side with him, despite all of the misgivings you, Sarah, have given voice to. And that's just a fact.
Anita Dunn.
Yeah, so I want to go back to something Van said, but I think we've all touched on it and haven't really discussed it yet, which is that it is a change electorate, and that the people, and if you look around the world, the people who were in power after COVID and after we came out of the pandemic tended to suffer because there is economic dislocation and people are unhappy. But one of the disturbing things for the Democratic Party, and something that we as a party have to face up to, is that we have absolutely lost our credibility with people who are at the lower end of the economic scale. And that is, since the New Deal, right, what our party's identity has been. So right now we're a party that thinks that we are representing them and thinks we're talking to them, but we actually are not doing a very effective job. And I want to go to the role inflation played, okay? Because we've touched on it a little, but if you were to say to me, why'd you lose? The easiest answer out there is inflation and prices and the cost of rent. And, Jason touched on this a little, but it's absolutely true. People in this country remember 2019, okay? And they remember it was a time when grocery prices were a lot lower, when they felt like they could go buy a house because interest rates were low. We heard this over and over again from voters, 2019. It was, and Joe Biden was elected president in 2020, losing the economy to Donald Trump. They still thought Trump was better on the economy, even as Joe Biden was elected. But it was a huge issue, and inflation is something that I think you can't message your way out of. And so if you were to say to me, what is the Democratic Party's biggest problem right now? Is that the people we think we're representing don't think we are representing them when it comes to the core issue for them, which is the economy and how am I going to make it? And I used to pay this much, and now I'm paying that much, and I can't afford it. And Van talked about this, but I think it is such a real thing for the Democratic Party that as we, over the last 10 years or so, really the last 4 election cycles, the acceleration of this has just become serious.
Van.
I don't want to go quick. I want to go as long as Kellyanne. I got a lot to say. So look, I think that you're talking about something that's important for this party. Mm-hmm. Both these parties are hypocritical. You have the Republican Party, that's the party of Lincoln. It's a party of, in its own mind, it's a radical anti-slavery party. It's a party of individual rights and individual dignity. And they have a bunch of white nationalists running around in there. That's a problem. Our party is supposed to be the party of FDR and working folks, but if you don't eat kale and go to yoga classes, you can't go to most of these meetings. And so that's a problem. So you have two parties that have fundamental hypocrisies built into them. We thought that their hypocrisy was going to blow them up. We thought that playing footsy with all these crazy people was going to blow up, but it's our hypocrisy that blew us up. And so rather than sitting up here and trying to defend everything, I think it's an opportunity, because most people listening to this, the New York Times is going to be our people. So look, there's a bunch of stuff we did wrong. You touched one of them. People hurting economically, and we kept trying to tell them that, we're building cathedrals for them in 20 years with this Inflation Reduction Act. It didn't work. We also ran people out of our party on crypto. 50 million people bought some crypto. That's a bet on a future. They're trying to get to a better future. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, beating the hell out of crypto, beating the hell out of Silicon Valley people was not smart. Not inviting Elon Musk to the White House when you're doing an EV day because he doesn't have union workers was not smart. You're pushing people out of the party. That's a mistake. People are concerned about the health of their children. We used to own that. Michelle Obama owned that. We gave that up. RFK starts talking about it. He's a nut. There's a lot of people after COVID, a lot of our folks, suburban housewives and other folks who are very concerned. We could have talked about the issue. We didn't. We're pushing people out of this party. And the last thing I'll say is, I hate all these people, the anti-woke, the anti-this, the anti-that, but you got to look in the mirror at a certain point. We've had 5 movements in a row in our party that rely on dehumanizing binaries, where you're putting down some people to lift somebody else up. I love all our movements, but there's a moral flaw when every movement's got to put somebody down. Black Lives Matter, all white people are racist. That is not going to work. No, hold on a second. That is in fact a part of the ideology that subconsciously there's unconscious bias, and the way that lands though for people is you're calling them names. There's got to be a better way to say it. You walk through all of our movements. You look at Bernie. I love Bernie. All billionaires are evil. Everybody, 99% is a victim. Oprah Winfrey's a billionaire. She's not evil. You look at the climate movement. All traditional energy is evil, including poor, sick coal miners. Environmentalists can throw ketchup on the Mona Lisa and their heroes. That doesn't work. Look at Me Too. Look at now, if you're Jewish, you're a colonizer. If you're if you're for the Palestinians, you can do whatever you want to. These things are landing very poorly because it's not Dr. King. It's not Nelson Mandela. It's not Ella Jo Baker. It's not Van Hamer. Progressives are at our best when we're saying we want dignity for everybody. We want to free the jailed and the jailers. We want to free the people who have been oppressors and the people who have been oppressed. We want to free everybody. When you stand for everyone's dignity, everybody's humanity, the whole world stands with you. When you do these dehumanizing binaries, even though we're well-intentioned, it lands poorly. So there's a lot of stuff for us to look at. I think we can take these same movements, love everybody, bring everybody to the table, tell white guys we need them, tell white...
Oh my goodness. The kumbaya. The kumbayaing that he's doing right now is disgusting. The whole BLM, all white people bad, and that, man, listen. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do all the kumbaya stuff. The kumbaya, like this is too much. Like seriously, this humanist talk. It's too much. It's too much. I don't know what is all this. We gotta link up with white like this. He's pretty much saying do more of the same. He's pretty much saying do more of the same. We got a Democrat better, right? Like what is this? Don't tear down everybody. We gotta all work together. We all gotta play nice with each other and have all our chitlins playing on top of the mountain together, because we gonna all overcome. It's just we got a Democrat better. Talk. Like, what are we talking about right now? He was doing all right up to this point.
For everybody. We want to free the jailed and the jailers. We want to free the people who have been oppressors and the people who have been oppressed. We want to free everybody. When you stand for everyone's dignity, everybody's humanity, the whole world stands with you. When you do these dehumanizing binaries, even though we're well-intentioned, it lands poorly. So there's a lot of stuff for us to look at. I think we can take these same movements, love everybody, bring everybody to the table, tell white guys we need them, tell white guys we're mad at them because we need them. We're mad at them because we love them, we want them on our side. There's a different way to talk about this stuff. We've got to take these sub-movements seriously. We've got to, and look, you guys are going to beat me up, and I don't care. I'm telling you right now, there's a progressive movement that's available that if we take people's economic pain seriously, like you said, take women's fear seriously, like you said, but also draw this circle a little bit bigger, then when the thing comes back to us, not only can we win, we can govern and get something done.
I want to key off something you just said about Elon Musk and the lack of an invitation to him and turn to somebody who knows him well. What is your sense of how much influence Elon Musk actually has over Donald Trump right now, and how long do you expect this love fest is going to last, Kevin McCarthy?
How long does it last? I think it lasts quite a bit. One thing I know about the two of them, they got together in the first term. Elon will not equate himself to be a Republican or Democrat. If there's something that drives Elon, it's the First Amendment. And you're right, you pushed him out, the Democrats pushed him out, offended him, is the biggest maker of EVs, and you pushed him out. Elon didn't set up to think that I'm going to support Donald Trump. He thought he would lose the country if these policies with the Democrats stayed in. And he had to leave California. He watched what happened to him in California. And he says, I have no other place to go. They'll make every state that way. So he called it upon himself to engage to try to save the country. He endorsed him when he watched the assassination attack because of the reaction that he gave. I mean, it wasn't in his mindset to go then. I think it lasts a while, but there's going to only be one president. So people get tired of one another, and I think it could be wearing. And but I think Elon has done better in the process now. In my conversations with him, all these decisions are not decisions that Elon would make, but I think he feels very fair about giving advice. I think Trump is really good about embracing, because there's a lot of things. What's unique about Trump? Trump is probably our last our television president. I mean, if you think about it, we've known Donald Trump from TV long before he ever ran. That's what helped him. But he's also the president that moved us to the digital. There's a lot of things that are happening from space, from everything else, that the president doesn't know about it, but he trusts certain people. And I think that will be an education that would move on.
Talk a bit about, just staying with you for a second, Mike Johnson is entering this new Congress with a razor-thin majority. Mm-hmm. There is almost no room for error. Two things I want you to talk about. One is, how exactly is this going to work, and how much more important does it make the Senate, and specifically John Thune? And also, why does Donald Trump run ahead of the Republican brand the way he has consistently? And can any other Republican presidential nominee put together the coalition that Trump did?
Okay, to be fair, Van Jones, Republicans have problems too. We didn't win. Donald Trump won.
Hence the question. This is
right. And I would say before this election, whoever lost the election was the first party to correct themselves. I disagree with the election about Hillary Clinton. People were voting against Hillary Clinton in that election. And both parties have problems. Why you think the Bernie Sanders and the Trump rise up, they haven't solved the problems for all this time. You're 100% with both parties. So people are...
I've been saying this. Both of these parties are fractured. Yes, Republicans, you too. I know you just won this election by a landslide, but that don't make your party less fractured. Both of these parties are fractured. Both of them things are shifting within both parties. And both of them need rebranding. They need to establish what exactly it is they are. Because what they traditionally have been, they're no longer that. So they need to, both sides need to figure this out. Right? And I agree. The best thing for the Democrats probably was them losing this election. Right? Because if you look at this like you look at sports, if you're a sports head, and I always make the claim that you never want to be a middle of the pack team. You never want to be a team that's just in the middle of the pack. You're not at the bottom of the league, but you're not at the top of the league either, right? Like you fighting to be a playoff team every year, right? But even if you make the playoffs, you like the bottom seed, right? And some years you miss the playoffs, right? You don't want to be that team, right? Because that team stays in that position forever, right? You want to be either really good or really bad, right? And sometimes I'd rather bottom out than to be that middle of the pack ass team that ain't never going to win a championship and just good enough to barely make a playoffs or maybe make a playoffs every year. That's not good enough for me, right? And that's currently where the Democrats are at. Now, the Democrats got a chance to just tank the rest of the season and then go out and draft them a number one pick and then rebuild from there, which is where they need to pretty much do. But now they're quicker to do that, right? Because they can go into rebuilding mode quicker than the Republican Party, who got to kind of ride this whole Trump shit out and see how this shit works. But it's not going to work. And they're eventually going to have to do the same thing. But y'all get to do it first. So y'all got the heads up on them because of this. So look at it that way, Democrats. That they go your silver lining. Because this was eventually going to happen, even if y'all won this election. But anyways, I digress. Let's continue.
And both parties have problems. Why you think the Bernie Sanders and the Trump rise up, they haven't solved the problems for all this time. You're 100% with both parties. So people are free to go to either way and who's going to capture them. Republicans used to win when we had low turnouts. We now win when we have big turnouts. Because what did President Trump do for us? He brought us people, lower educated. He brought us mass people. If you look at Hispanic population, we do best in those areas. So what's going to happen in Congress itself was the question. I think the power is going to rest with Thune because how the next goes is how you finish this year. You are doing the president a disadvantage that he's going to have to worry about last year's funding. When you think about the debt ceiling, I made the debt ceiling now. Why? So you could take care of it before the next president. If I advise this to Johnson, what I would do is I would finish all the funding and I would do the debt ceiling before the next president takes in. He never got a honeymoon last time because you started attacking him. He's better prepared in transition. Why are you making him deal with last year's funding when he wasn't even around? The top lines are already set. The appropriators know how to do it. Johnson's worried about a speaker's vote that will never happen to him what happened to me because President Trump is there. You got adult supervision. Nobody else can win either. So you can't get to that point. But you're doing the president a disservice if he has to go deal with all last year's funding. The Senate is going to become the power. Thune is also central casting. He's the person that's going to confirm him. I think he's going to find that he's going to work well with President Trump. You got reconciliation, so the biggest fear you have of tax, that's going to get taken care of, but you want to bring SALT back, you're going to have to pay for that. How are you going to make the system work again? Again, if you end this year without funding the funding, the next year doesn't start so well.
Jason and Kellyanne, I want you both to address something. We've talked a little bit about what President-elect Trump has said about retribution. Jason, I know he said his only retribution or revenge will be a successful presidency, but he's also actually just said revenge. And he has announced that he is going to make the FBI director, if he can get him confirmed, and it would require either forcing Chris Wray, his other appointee for the FBI, to resign or firing him. He is going to name Kash Patel, who told Steve Bannon last year that it was imperative to, quote, go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Do you, to both of you, expect that is something that Donald Trump will follow through with? Jason or Kellyanne? Jason, dive in.
I think, well, first of all, I think Kash stepping in is going to bring reform to the FBI that's much needed. And I think too many Americans have lost confidence in the FBI, in the DOJ, American justice system, about where it stands. Feel that justice is being applied unequally. With President Trump, I think the only people who need to be worrying are people who leak classified information, people who have sought to undermine our justice system, people who have violated very serious laws themselves. Now, I know that many folks here in the media, and obviously we're doing this with the New York Times, take this very seriously. President Trump, being a strong supporter of the First Amendment, is always going to protect that. And I'm not concerned about that at all with this next Trump term. But I do think that there has to be a reckoning with the way that we've seen the leaks and the classified information, all the nonsense that's gone on behind the scenes. That has to be fixed because Americans need to have confidence in this legal system and with the justice system.
It would be so bad if people were keeping
Sarah
classified
Longwell.
information like in a bathroom. That wouldn't be good, right?
I feel like it's 2022.
Kellyanne Conway, same question to you about Kash Patel. Do you anticipate that he will follow through with what he had said he would do last year, or do you see it as Jason sees it, which is that
I see it as Jason sees it and as President Trump sees it. Kash Patel is qualified for that job. I hope he gets confirmed. And it's very clear, going back to household names, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Bruce Orr, Nellie Orr, people don't have confidence in the seventh floor of the Justice Department. They saw how politicized our FBI became. That is nothing against the 35,000 rank and file men and women who work at the FBI and show up every day doing their jobs. I think that our relationship with law enforcement has taken a beating over the last however many years. Saying defund the police, three of the dumber words coming out of the Democratic Party, it makes people nervous to see that our military, our Border Patrol, our FBI, certainly our local law enforcement feel under-resourced and under-respected in doing their jobs. And that is a big part of the Trump mandate and the Trump coalition. I want to say something else about the media. I keep open as a window on my laptop Jeff Bezos' Washington Post op-ed. I think that beyond, we're not going to endorse in the presidential race, and people had a hissy fit and quit and cancel their subscriptions because they have this expectation that the media are emotional about Donald Trump, major that everybody will be Jim Rutenberg, one of your colleagues at the New York Times, who in August of 2016 wrote a piece basically saying, Maggie, listen, I'm supposed to be objective and fair and unbiased, but the prospect that we can even have Donald Trump as president means I have to stop this. I feel this time...
I'm sorry, Jim, you're saying Jim Rutenberg wrote a piece saying that?
Yes, in August of 2016. In other words,
That doesn't sound like Jim Rutenberg, I know, and I can't say... I'd have to go back and look at what you're saying, but Jim Rutenberg's an excellent colleague and an excellent reporter.
He is. I'm not criticizing him. I'm saying that this time I think a lot of people in the media took that mantle and they said to themselves, I have to stop Trump. It's my moral obligation to stop this person and call him names and so forth. Even as, Jonathan knows, I think you've written 3 books with Trump in the title. Like there's this love-hate relationship. There's this symbiosis of a relationship. But I think what Jeff Bezos says is important for all of us to digest, where he says, we in the media, he was talking about the Washington Post, he said, we in the media have a low approval rating. We don't have this vaunted position we once did. We need to win back the trust. I think many of our institutions do, including the FBI. And if anybody who is covering Kash Patel or any other nominee and did not do it with the same enthusiasm and accuracy when Alejandro Mayorkas told this country, told Congress under oath in 2021, 3.5 years ago, the border is closed, the border is secure, and since then, 10 million people have come here, government statistic, and since then, people open up their phones, turn on the TV, and they see people here in New York City getting debit cards, cash, cell phones, clothing, hotel rooms, your kid's seat in a New York City classroom, and they say that's not fair. And they don't think of themselves as xenophobes and racists. They just say, this isn't fair. When did this happen? And so I feel that every president has grace and latitude to put the nominees up that they want to serve them well. I think President Trump is choosing people he think will do an excellent job in those individual posts. And one more thing, Maggie, he's chosen people who he knows are communicators. He wants his democratization of information back for America. Here's a man who, whether you liked it or not, by 6:02 every morning, you knew what he thought about for the day because he had tweeted it. People miss that transparency from their commander-in-chief from a White House that's telling us behind the scenes Joe Biden's actually a triathlete trapeze artist. We just can't see it. They want somebody to have democratization of information so that in this country, in this world, whether you're the stay-at-home mom, the plumber on the job looking at his phone, or a billionaire CEO.
You like those tweets a lot more than I do, I'll tell you that.
Everybody,
I just wonder,
you know what? Good. At least we know what he's thinking.
Margaret,
and he's choosing people in the cabinet who are going to do the same.
Kellyanne, you mentioned some important policy points, but there was a question that Maggie said about prosecuting the media. And I think specifically with Kash Patel, if Jason and Kellyanne could respond to the promises that Kash has made, not just to prosecute the media, but also to go after specific people who have been part of the Justice Department in the previous administration, including Bill Barr, John Bolton, Mark Esper, Joe Biden, forget HRC, Pat Cipollone, Alyssa Farah Griffin, Cassidy Hutchins.
He has a lengthy target.
I mean, it's in his book. He published it in the appendix. All the people that he plans to prosecute if he's in charge. So, I mean, can you all speak to that?
Are you saying welfare is a bad idea, Margaret?
I'm sorry.
Are you guys?
No, I'm actually wondering. You guys are previous colleagues. No, you and Jason.
No, this is a question to both of you.
And this is somebody who, as you say, Donald Trump is only going to, nominate people who are going to prosecute his vision for government. Is prosecuting people who held those positions of power in the previous administration, his own administration, the proper way to go?
Are you suggesting that people have committed crimes?
Kash Patel has said that he will prosecute Bill Barr, Mark Esper, Mark Milley. John Bolton, Cassidy Hutchinson, Pat Cipollone, Alyssa Farah Griffin. Is that appropriate?
I think what's going to happen is he'll be asked about all of that in his confirmation hearings, and we should welcome those questions. He's a big boy. He can answer those questions. I assume he'll have pre-confirmation hearing meetings where he could be asked those questions as well. I'm very happy to see.
Kellyanne, you think that's a bad idea, though?
I'm
being honest. I'm being honest with my stuff, and you guys aren't. You think that's a bad idea?
No, I don't think it's a great idea to prosecute people without just cause. I don't know all the facts. I do know some of the people you're mentioning were very difficult for me to deal in the White House as senior counsel of the president because.
But not criminals.
No, because they weren't very effective. They were obsequious. They always had their pom-poms out. And it was hard to give them any position of responsibility. He loses, and all of a sudden, they found anti-Trump religion. And they write their books, and they go on TV, and they do what they do. But I think everybody here is getting a little nervous because maybe there's some regret, maybe not here, writ large, there's some regret of the way Donald Trump's been covered. And by the way, had people who are obsessed with Donald Trump spent an iota, a scintilla of that time, not focused on Trump, focused on the Trump voter, the growing Trump coalition, Trump country that we have now, where these you look at the map, it looks red almost everywhere. Had you spent time focused on the Trump vote instead of looking down on them and telling who they should be and whom they should vote for and how they should worship their God and raise their kid and what they should eat.
I'm sorry, are we not going to just take a moment to be chilled by what Kellyanne just said?
Can we take a moment? People without just cause?
Is that what you just said? Because what I saw you say, actually,
just always off on some tangent.
We don't know
insulting
each other.
Kevin McCarthy.
Sarah should be able to.
Let Sarah talk.
Sarah, go ahead. Insulting people by name.
Everyone is insulting everybody by name.
You guys have been insulting each other since you guys sat down next to each other. So don't say Sarah's doing it. That's just not fair.
Margaret, stop.
Yeah, and also, I don't know that it's an insult to say that Kevin McCarthy said that the election was stolen, that was a lie to the American people, that they now believe.
Can we keep this focused on Trump?
That's I don't know. You brought up Orr and everybody else.
Sarah. if you want to respond to what Kellyanne said, please.
So the reason that I do focus groups all the time is because after Trump was elected the first time, I wanted to understand why. Because I was a Republican, right? I'd been a Republican my entire life. And I wanted to know why voters liked this person that I thought was repellent and who was saying things like go grab women by their genitalia, was doing all of this crazy stuff, who's now an adjudicated rapist.
A carpet licking Republican, huh? Okay.
Women by their genitalia, who's doing all of this crazy stuff, who's now an adjudicated rapist. There's a lot of things. And I just, there's a couple things that were in some of the answers that I think are really important going forward. So one is, it's not just that people are being pushed out of the Democratic Party. There's actually a political realignment going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Democratic Party is now populated by a lot more of these college-educated voters, and there aren't enough of them. The Republican Party has built a multiracial, multi-ethnic working class coalition for a variety of reasons, much of which is part of like negative polarization, right? A rejection of something else as opposed to an affirmative like. I don't think that Americans wanted tariffs. I don't think that Americans want a lot of the things that Trump wants, but they are rejecting. And just like in 2020, right, when you say never Trump, always wrong or whatever your thing is, right? We beat Donald Trump in 2020 because people thought he mismanaged COVID. They were tired of him. They were sick of him being in their face all the time, and they wanted the stability. But then what they got still was a bunch of things that they also didn't want, mainly higher prices and an open border. But I actually also want to go back to something Jason said, because I think it's important for Democrats to understand that the entire world has changed. And Van was saying this too. I had written down authenticity and had squared it, and then you brought it up. And I think it's deeply important. When I listened to voters in the focus groups, when I knew DeSantis was cooked against Trump, when they said, he seems like a regular politician. And the thing about Kamala Harris is technically she could be quite good, actually. I think surprisingly good compared to where Republicans had set the bar. But she did not feel authentic. She felt like a regular politician. Joe Biden feels like a regular politician. Voters don't want that anymore. And people are going to have to adjust to that terrain. When you give a good speech or even a good debate, and you win on points, that's not enough anymore. You've got to be able to walk in to all kinds of places, hostile places, and sit down and have a conversation. And if you can't do that, you can't win.
Can I?
Agree more.
Van, go ahead.
Look, I think, Kamala's campaign went from brat to flat, and it was obvious. Like, there was a moment when she first got in there, she was loose, and she seemed to be saying F it, and people could relate to that. And then it seemed it got super professional, super slicked up. It became kind of talking point bingo, and people didn't stick with her. What I found, the message that worked for Kamala Harris on the doors in the barbershops was a message she never used. It was, Kamala Harris wants to lift you up. Donald Trump wants to lock you up. We never prosecuted Donald Trump on all the stuff he wanted to do on stop and frisk. We gave him a free pass. Donald Trump said he wanted to bring back stop and frisk, a lot of stuff that scared the crap out of young black men. We told them. But the other thing that we were able to do with Kamala on the doors was, Donald Trump's a little baby billionaire. He's a little billionaire. You want to be rich? You're a young black man. You want to be an owner? You want to be an entrepreneur? You want to be a provider? Why are you following this little baby billionaire? Kamala Harris represents real billionaires. She represents California. She represents the biggest bunch of billionaires in the world. Vote for her and donate to her. And so you begin to link into the aspirations of these young men who don't like what Donald Trump says, but they like what he's been able to do with his life. And so there was a huge disconnect from what the campaign thought.
What the fuck is a little billionaire? I ain't know little and billionaire. I ain't even know those two words belong in the same sentence. Little billionaire? Pause. Like, how does that even work? Like, a little billionaire? Like, I would love to be a little billionaire. I don't even need to be a big billionaire. I don't need to be a medium billionaire. I'll be totally happy with being a small billionaire. Being a small billionaire beats not being a billionaire at all. I don't know what the fuck he even talking about. Donald Trump's a billionaire, but he's just a small billionaire. he's a little billionaire. Like, what do you mean he a little, wait, hold on. What do you mean he a little billionaire? I don't know. That just sounds a little weird to me, but you lost me there.
Represents real billionaires. She represents California. She represents the biggest, hold on a second, the biggest bunch of billionaires in the world vote for her and donate to her. And so you begin to link into the aspirations of these young men who don't like what Donald Trump says, but they like what he's been able to do with his life. And so there was a huge disconnect from what the campaign thought was going to work and what was actually resonating with young men. And I'm going to tell you, young men of color are up for grabs. They don't like Republicans, they don't like Democrats, and they don't like their circumstances.
Kevin McCarthy. The one thing I will say, at times we overthink this.
Yeah.
If I just look at a city council race or any race, I start on election day and work backwards. What is in the voters' mind on election day? Kamala Harris didn't flip one county. Not one county. She did worse on the gender vote than Joe Biden did. And I would say this one question to any race. What's in the voters' mind on election day? She had more than $1 billion. And I'm being frank. I could not tell you the three things she was going to accomplish if she got elected. The only thing that comes to mind is she was going to give first-time home buyers $25,000. So that's a repudiation on the campaign itself. What was the campaign about? We could say all these other things, but to a voter out there, what are you going to do?
Well,
hang on one sec. I want to switch for a second to ask Anita a question here in terms of just talking about what's on voters' minds and a point Jason made about immigration. We're in a sanctuary city. We're in a city where the mayor, who has also been indicted, has been praising President-elect Trump a lot. He also angered the Biden administration by being very critical about the border policies. Did he have a point, given where things were and where the electorate has shown it was? I mean, do you think that the Biden White House was slow to react to what was clearly a crisis in the minds of voters, or anything should have been dealt with differently in the first 2 years?
It's a huge question.
It is, but
yeah. I think that I think that immigration was an issue that was seen as something to be managed as opposed to really addressed. And don't forget, every administration, and this one will be no different, comes in reaction to what has gone before. And what the 2020 campaign and what the Biden administration was reacting to were the policies of President Trump in his first administration: family separation, children being locked in cages, things like that were very powerful images for the American people. And obviously came into office, COVID, we had Title 42. So we had a shut border at that time. We had unaccompanied minors, which was our first immigration problem, solved it. But there's no question that the administration should have moved more quickly once Title 42 was no longer in effect to get control of what was happening there. And there's no question, quite frankly, that had we done that, New York, Chicago saw a dramatic drop-off in Democratic vote, probably would have looked a little different. So
this is another reason why you lost Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Was what was happening on the border. This is another reason why you have two counties in Texas who have never in the history of America voted for a Republican vote for him. It's another reason why we're winning the Hispanic vote.
Look, one of the central arguments against Trump was he's chaos. He's going to bring chaos back. And if you look at Joe Biden's approval rating, it actually went down well into his first year. It was with the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And those images, which were more chaotic than any images, frankly, that we saw during the 4 years of the Trump presidency. So you combine that with the images coming from the border, which were, again, not only so many people coming, it's just the whole chaos around it. And Kamala Harris had an answer on the border, which was the immigration bill, which was an immigration bill that wasn't brought up until almost 3 years into the Biden presidency. And she also said, and we had an immigration bill on the first day of our presidency. Well, that bill, which they never really pushed for, it wasn't going to go anywhere, was not a border security bill. It was the opposite. It was rolling back everything that Trump had done. So she really didn't have an answer on that, or frankly, on Afghanistan.
Anita, did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, I think the one thing I would say is that the answer for Kamala Harris was we do need to be tougher. And I think that was an obvious one. Everyone would have accepted it. Yes, we need to be tougher. Yes.
And we should have been tougher.
Yeah, but was she the immigration czar? I mean, did she argue? I really wasn't that, but we all watched at the State of the Union for him to say
we can do that. But here's, look, the minute those red state governors started putting buses full of folks in front of Kamala's house and every place else, we were in deep trouble. And if I had, to retcon, as you said, call those governors to the White House. Sit down and let's figure this thing out. There was an opportunity to be bipartisan, Joe, on the issue, and he didn't do it, and we paid a price. Look, I think the freedom that we have now is not the freedom we wanted, but Democrats, I do think, because most of our people listening to this are Democrats who are miserable, who are depressed, who cut off the news, who are talking to 3 therapists a day. Guys, guess what? For the first time in a long time, we don't have to run institutions that most people hate or protect them. There is an opportunity now. These guys own it all. Donald Trump is the most powerful person in human history. He has the White House, the Supreme Court, the Senate, the House, the popular vote, a massive movement behind him, a massive media system that's tailor-made for him. He owns it all. And thank goodness, because people are going to figure out if his ideas are good or bad. Now, for the first time, we don't have to run these things. Let our rebels have a chance. Let people who got new ideas have a chance. Let people who are coming out of these neighborhoods have a chance. And let love have a chance. We can lift up poor black and brown folks without putting anybody down. We can lift up women without putting anybody down. We can stick up for the earth without putting anybody down. There is a condescension. There is a I'm right and you're wrong. There's a I'm better than you that we can just let go of, because there's going to be
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Especially, are you kidding me? That's what all them ideologies are centered around. Right? Like all those ideologies are centered around, somebody being the bad guy. And men will always be evil when pushing for women's rights. It always got to be, it can't just be we just want equal rights for women, that third. No, it got to be we got to tear these men down. It's up against these men. That it ain't about uplifting women. It's about tearing down men, right? The fruitcake-isms, right? That shit ain't about them having equal rights. It's about turning everybody fruity. That's what that shit's all about. Like if you ate fruity, then you're a problem. And you should try to be fruity. If you're unwilling to try to be fruity, then you're the demon. Right? Like this is what it is. Like this is what these ideologies are centered around. And if people wonder why motherfuckers don't fuck with these shit, pause. You know what I mean? But yeah. But that's what happens. Me versus you, us versus them. It's all this blood and crip shit that I be talking about. That shit, that's what all these ideologies are centered around. It's weird.
Without putting anybody down. We can lift up women without putting anybody down. We can stick up for the earth without putting anybody down. There is a condescension. There is a I'm right and you're wrong. There's a I'm better than you that we can just let go of. Because there's going to be enough pain and suffering out there and people looking for real answers that if we let some of these new ideas come forward, new people come forward, I think we can actually inherit in 2 years a real movement, and that's what's needed.
Alexis, hang on 1 second, Kevin. Alexis Mickle-Johnson.
Man, I love you. I love you dearly. Have known you for years, and I don't disagree that there should be love and hope and freedom to let the other folks fail, right? In some ways, but that pain and that suffering and that harm is real. Those are the people who come through our doors every single day. The undocumented folks, the women, the low-income folks who don't have any other place to get their care, right? And they may come for birth control, but they are leaving, and they are worried that they are going to be locked up, that their kids are going to be grabbed from school, that they're going to be grabbed from the job. Like the fear and the terror. And I think the challenge that I have is the idea that somehow the movement made this binary, right? It is the fight for humanity, right? The dehumanization it already existed. It already was happening, and it was being codified into policies, just as it has with Dobbs. And so, I see this as a rollback on, 50, to 100 years of progress that we have been making among communities of color, among gender, among, people who just want to live their lives. And I think we are overstating the multiracial coalition that Trump brought in. Right? I really do, because I think there are enough people who stayed home who weren't inspired to come out because the Democrats didn't offer something. But they were still very consistent in their numbers, just a little bit of reach, which we would expect. But it's not some overwhelming, majority. And I think, when you start to take away rights from folks, right? You're not saying that they're equal, right? You're saying that they're not your peers, because you don't take away rights from people that are your peers. And you're allowing the dehumanization to flourish. And the reason we're all in therapy and worried is because of the pain and the harm. So we cannot just let a tyrant kind of be in an institution like the presidency without that, that fear and reckoning of what we need to be.
Let me ask Sarah Longwell a related question. What happens to the future of the Never Trump movement from here?
I mean, I don't think Never Trump is a relevant thing to talk about anymore. Like, Never Trump Republicans were something from 2016. We were all Republicans. We were never going to vote for Donald Trump because he didn't represent our values. And then we set out to beat him. And then we beat him in 20. We beat him and all the little Trump wannabes like him in 22, because we were able to move a bunch of McCain, Romney voters into the Democratic Party. They were unwilling to vote for not just Donald Trump, but Carrie Lake, this time, Mark Robinson. Like, you've got a bunch of insane people that the Republican Party has brought in because of Donald Trump. However, like I said, there aren't enough of those voters, right? The vast majority, like, there are just more sort of non-college working class voters. And Donald Trump, though much less non-Donald Trump Republicans, but Donald Trump himself can pull those people out in a general election. If I were Republicans, I would be deeply worried about a non-Trump future, because Donald Trump, uniquely because he was on TV, I'll never forget when I was trying to understand why Donald Trump appealed to voters in the first place, how many people had watched The Apprentice. Now, I never watched The Apprentice, that wasn't it, but they all had. And so this idea of Donald Trump as a television, carefully curated businessman is just an idea that is locked in the public consciousness that gives him a superpower that other people don't have. They also forgive him many of his trashiest, most despicable qualities because he's on TV, because he was on Page 6. It's like a celebrity thing that they forgive, so they don't treat him. That's the reason there's a big asymmetry in how voters hold politicians accountable versus Donald Trump. And so for Never Trumpers, I think right now, there's no more, unless, I don't know, I don't think that Donald Trump, because he, in those tweets that he puts out, he said he would suspend the Constitution. He's obviously already flirting with the idea that he could run again in 2028. He's too old, I think, to actually do that. But I don't think there's another time to sort of resist Donald Trump. I think for a lot of us now, we became very focused on democracy, right? We became very focused on how do you preserve the things that are the best about America that Donald Trump wants to tear down. It's funny when I listen to these guys say, oh, well, they don't have faith in the FBI. It's like, oh, well, maybe you guys called them the deep state for a really long time, or they don't have any faith in the media. Well, maybe you guys have been calling them the enemy of the people. And I'm not saying some of that didn't exist already and Donald Trump was able to tap into it, but he has exacerbated. He has torn down people's
What is
faith. The trap that we now fall into, though, is because of that. And I don't want to take away from any of the pain that was just spoken to. We should have started with, honestly. But the only blessing in this massive curse is that we can now dream beyond just defense.
Well, hold on a second.
I would like an answer, though, to what the movement ends up looking like.
Yeah, and so I think now we have to be in a position when Kellyanne says things like, I don't know. Maybe he's going to prosecute
I didn't
those
say
people.
that, Sarah. Stop.
Let's.
It's not what I said.
What is?
And you just
So I
sound
what does
like
it end
to
up
get
looking
more
like
sugar
going
daddy
forward?
money for your focus groups.
Okay.
They don't have money
Stop.
in the resistance.
Stop. I'm gonna cut this
talk
off.
about the
I'm gonna
future
cut
of the
this off for now.
Yo, this Carrie Ann chick is hilarious. She said, yo, you just saying that so you can get some more money for your motherfucking sugar daddy and shit. Did she just say she trying to get some money from my motherfucking sugar daddy? That shit was hilarious. Real quick.
I don't know. Maybe he's going to prosecute those people.
Stop.
Let's.
It's not what I said.
What is?
And you just
So I
sound
think-
What does
like
it end
to
up
get
looking
more
like
sugar
going
daddy
forward?
money for your focus groups.
Okay.
They don't have money in the resistance.
Stop. I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna cut this off for now.
Party.
Jason Miller, does President-elect Trump still have faith in Pete Hegseth as his Secretary of Defense?
Yes, and Pete's going to have to go through the process, meeting with the senators individually, and then going in for his confirmation hearing. As we know, we've seen one presidency already. We have a second one. Then only one person's going to make these decisions, and that's President Trump. But I would say when you look at where he is now in 2024 versus 2016, this is an entire different level of organization and preparedness for a new administration. I would make the case that we've never seen an administration ever come into day one ready to go like President Trump is, quite frankly, because he's done it before. So when you talk about the personnel, having named people for each cabinet spot by Thanksgiving, that's way ahead of the pace from where it was in 2016. He has a chief of staff that's in place. They have executive orders. They're ready to go on day one. President Trump is ready to hit the ground running. But also, I make a critical point.
Also got a playbook, a Project 2025 playbook, 900 pages.
I'd also make the important point. He's already the president, effectively. You have foreign leaders coming to visit him. He's issuing threats to terrorists.
Don't we still have one president at one time, or is this?
we do.
No, I'm saying in the eyes of world leaders. They're already looking past Joe Biden because, well, the Democrats have put him out to pasture. But people are now recognizing that America has to be respected again. And that's why they're coming to Mar-a-Lago. That's why they're calling him. So President Trump's going to bring in this whole new era of reform when he goes to Washington in January. And I think that's going to be good for the country as the economy goes up and we secure the border.
Two follow-ups. He's also had two nominees, and depending on what happens with Hegseth, and they're not nominees yet, but announced nominees, withdrawn. That's also record-setting. So there's no question that he has absolutely put out a number of people as he plans to appoint. But is there something in the vetting that could have been different in terms of how he is selecting some of these people? Or is that beside the point?
I think when you look at the body of the cabinet that he's named so far, these are some very solid folks. And Scott Bessent going into Treasury, Lutnick at Commerce. I have a lot of confidence what these people are going to be able to do. These are some very stellar people.
Matt Gaetz lasted 8 days. Kevin McCarthy, do you have thoughts on that?
I'm surprised he lasted 8 days. Gaetz wasn't vetted. Gaetz needed to get out of Congress, and Trump gave him an advantage because he had to resign before the report came out. So I don't equate that. No one thought he would ever get in. But I would exactly say what Jason said. He is better prepared. And the one thing you have to remember, too, is Trump has 10,000 hours. He knows what to do with the job. He knows he only has 4 years, and he doesn't want to waste one moment. The only thing I would take from all this discussion, and Van, tell me if I'm right or wrong. When Republicans lose, we never say we have to have therapy.
You just say you didn't lost. You just say you didn't lose.
I never knew who she was until today. I don't know if I'd ever listened. Exactly. But what's interesting to me is I don't think that's the right advice for the Democrats. And I know what you said, let them own everything. The only thing I would say is the election's over. Yeah. The one thing I will tell you, America has some very big problems. One thing I tried to do as Speaker, the Select Committee on China, reconstitute the others, but I tried to bring everybody together. On our big issues, we can't do it by one party. Our debt, we got to reform our education system. When you also look at defense, whoever captures AI and quantum is going to have an advantage, but whoever has energy is going to have those. We cannot say one party you have it all, because our whole government is designed that you have to have compromise. There's power in the minority. So what I would say, engage in the process. They may have power right now, but you can. The minority has power.
Look, I did it.
I know you did. Have the final word, and then
look,
then we're out.
I agree with you, and I'll work with anybody to help the people at the bottom.
You've proven that before.
I've proven it. I'll work with anybody. If the least of these, the addicted, the afflicted, the convicted, and the evicted, the people that Jesus called the least of this, I'll work with anybody. But the future of this party is going to be people whose names we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be people like John Fetterman. It's going to be people like Ro Khanna, who are thinking outside of the box. This party has a future. Last time we got trapped in, we have to oppose everything all the time. Every tweet is the end of the republic. This time, I think you're going to see a much more judicious Democratic Party, and we have the opportunity to come up with brand new ideas that, while you guys are trying to run everything, we can actually start building a real movement, and that's the opportunity we've got.
With that, thank you all for being here today and mostly holding your fire, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, family. There you go. I just wanted y'all to hear that conversation. I thought it was interesting to hear that Van Jones sound like he waking up a little bit to some of the errors of the Democrats. Then he started reverting back to dumb shit, you know, his little silly ass ideologies, but that's either here or there. He did acknowledge that the Democrats got a problem. Right? He wasn't as delusional as some of them other motherfuckers up on there that was very problematic. Like those feminists was, oh my goodness, don't even get me started with those motherfuckers. Those motherfuckers is an issue. But I'm about to get ready to drop the link, family, but before I do, did y'all motherfuckers hear about y'all uncle? Did y'all hear about y'all uncle? Y'all uncle is at it again, family. Y'all uncle is at it again. Like some footage leaked about y'all uncle this week. I don't know if y'all saw it or heard it, but that shit is crazy. But I'm about to get ready to play some of this as the commercial, and I'm gonna come right back. But yeah, what's up with y'all uncle though, man? Y'all uncle gotta stop this, man. Like, next time at the family reunion, y'all gonna have to check this motherfucker. Cause he got some, this motherfucker is nutty. So y'all know who I'm talking about. This motherfucker, this uncle, the crazy, well, one of the crazy ones. This one right here. Wait up. Yeah.
Mr. Rowe.
What is Atkinson Baker? That's the court reporter? Okay, hang on.
The court reporter service is on twice. All right. Madam Court Reporter, can you swear in our witness?
Yeah.
Mr. West, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly state, under penalty of perjury, that the evidence you shall give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
This is case number 220, entitled My Channel versus West.
My name is Michael Popak. Can you hear me, Mr. West?
Yes.
Okay. I see that you're looking down at probably a device. Are you on your phone?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to ask as a ground rule that you not be on your phone during the exam. Can we agree to that?
Well, is that legally what it should be?
I'm not going to advise you as to the law. That's why your lawyers are here. But that is my ground rule for the deposition, consistent with California law, that you need to be present, focused on the examination and not on a device.
Due to my mental geniusness, in order to focus on this bullshit, I need to be on a phone.
Counsel, do you want to speak to your client before we continue?
I think, well, Kanye, in terms of, you can listen to the questions and answer them, right? Okay, I get off the phone.
Okay, Mr. West, why have you donned a mask to start this deposition?
Because you don't have the right to see my face.
And is it your intention to wear that mask for the entire duration of your examination?
Perhaps.
Okay. So, counsel, we're going to take this up with the magistrate, but I'm not going to delay the examination. We'll do it at the break.
Kanye.
Kanye obviously had planned a stunt. He had that mask in his pocket. He was just looking for the appropriate moment during the deposition. I'm in for a ride. My goal was to stay on that Bronco as long as I could.
Deposition from, where is that room?
I'm not gonna tell you. You're never gonna see me again.
Madam Court Reporter, same thing, mark the transcript. And who is in the room with you, if anyone?
No one's in this actual room with me.
Okay, and what other things do you have in the room besides the phone that you've identified?
Are you stupid? I'm not gonna tell you other things. I don't have the time to be talking about. I got a chair in the room. You are talking to the richest black person in the history of America.
What's wrong with your uncle, dog? What's wrong with this motherfucker, man? Somebody get him. Can somebody get this motherfucker, man? This motherfucker is nutty as fuck. Like, he did that. He did that. Like, this motherfucker nutty as fuck, dog. Like, yo, somebody go get your uncle, man. Get your uncle. This shit is crazy. Something wrong with this motherfucker, son. Something wrong with that motherfucker. I don't. That motherfucker threw on a whole hooded mask. That motherfucker threw on a whole hooded motherfucking mask and shit. You know what I mean? Like he a super villain. That motherfucker looked like the super villain and shit on the new motherfucking, you know what I mean? On the new Boys series and shit, the new season of the Boys. Like he gonna be the new super villain. He had a whole hooded mask on. So y'all not allowed to see my face. I'm not gonna let y'all see my face. Y'all not allowed to look at me. It's like you gonna really have that hood on the entire motherfucking disposition? Maybe. He's like, y'all never gonna see me ever again. Yo, get your uncle, son. He done lost his shit. That motherfucker, he's still screaming that shit. I'm the richest black man in America, the history of Americanisms. I am the richest nigga that ever existed. Ain't no nigga ever exist that had more money than me. I'm pure genius. That motherfucker nutty as shit. That shit was hilarious. I was like, oh my goodness. And that shit gonna be on a new special on A&E or some shit. Y'all, I can't wait for that shit to come out because I gotta see that. I gotta see all of that. Right? That ain't even all of it. I need to see all of that. Cause that shit is a whole circus right there. And you know what's funny? He ain't even do that shit for the cameras. Like that, this shit leaked out. Like this ain't even supposed to be a thing. Nobody's supposed to even know about this. This is how you know he's truly nutty, right? Like he don't do shit for the camera. This motherfucker's legit nutty. Like Kanye is legit out there. Like he's batshit. Like legit nutty. I'm just saying. The motherfucker's crazy. I'm like a whole super villain out there. What the fuck is this? That motherfucker crazy as fuck. Had a hooded mask on and shit. And he had on a hat that said rooted in ignorance. I was like, yeah, that kind of describes you best, motherfucker. That hat describes you best because you are totally rooted in motherfucking ignorance, you dumb fuck. That shit is, oh my goodness. Oh, that shit was hilarious, yo. That motherfucker said, all right, I'll take the fucking hat off. That motherfucker took his hat off and then threw on the hood. Only Kanye, yo. Only Kanye, family. You can't write this shit. You can't write this shit. Yo, that motherfucker, he is like a walking, he's a walking meme, yo. He's a whole living, walking meme. Like, I ain't never seen a motherfucker just had so many meme moments. And like Kanye got quotables, right? Like, that motherfucker got quotables for days. Like, that motherfucker right there, he lay it out. That motherfucker got quotables, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could go on for decades talking about Kanye's quotables and shit. Like, his quotables are legendary. Like, and I ain't even talking music. I'm talking outside the studio. He got so many quotables outside the studio. Fuck the studio. Fuck songs and shit. Who talking about songs? I'm talking about like interviews and dispositions and, you know what I mean? Tweets and shit. Like, he got quotables, nigga, for decades. With an S, right? Meaning plural. Meaning more than one motherfucker, like multiple decades. Like, I ain't talking just 10 years, but no, multiple decades. Quotables. Like, Kanye, boy, I'm telling you. That motherfucker is literally a walking, living meme. Like, you can't write this shit that motherfucker do, dog. Like, if you wrote a movie about that motherfucker, you'd be writing for days. You wouldn't even know what to throw up in. It's too much shit to throw up in there. You're going to miss something. Right? You're going to miss a whole lot of shit. Right? There's too much shit that you're going to miss something. Half the movie going to be about his interviews and all that crazy shit, him losing his shit. You got to explain why he's losing his shit. Nobody knows, though. Nobody knows. People are like, yo, what's up with Kanye? Why you acting like this? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You ask 1,000 people, they give you 1,000 different answers. Nobody knows. A lot of these celebrity worshiping Negroes, they just make excuses like, ain't nothing wrong with him. He's just a deep thinker. He just thinks outside the box. You know, like them weirdos. Yeah, motherfuckers trying to philosophize the slave comment. The motherfuckers trying to philosophize his Adolf Hitler position. Motherfuckers trying to philosophize. Like Kanye fans or something else, but they will philosophize everything that weirdo does. They probably philosophize that weirdo ass hooded mask and shit. Try to find some hidden alternate meaning behind it and shit. Like that shit. You know what I mean? Like that shit had some motherfucking, you know, some coded messaging and shit that we gotta learn to decipher and shit, or else we ain't woke, right? Like only the woke motherfuckers get it, right? But the woke motherfuckers get it, right? So they get the message. They you know what I mean? They receive the message and then they try to, you know what I mean? Deliver it back to you motherfuckers and dumb it down so people can understand it. Because, you know, y'all laymen's and they the woke people gotta motherfucking break it down to you laymen's so a 5-year-old can understand it, right? Because Kanye too deep. You try to listen to it straight from the source, it's gonna go over your head. So we need mediators and shit. You know, us non-woke people who think Kanye's batshit crazy and don't hear the undertone messaging behind his crazy. You know, apparently we don't see the consciousness in his craziness because we ain't woke, apparently. That's what I've been told. I don't know what the fuck going on. You let these crazy motherfuckers call it. Like, I don't listen to those type motherfuckers. Those type motherfuckers, I don't even listen to them type motherfuckers. Like, you nutty as shit. You trying to make sense out of crazy. I'm not listening to a motherfucker who's trying to make sense out of crazy. That just means you're equally as crazy. I mean, you liable to be talking this same crazy shit. I'm not listening to you. You're crazy. You're nutty. Get your mind right. We in the building though, family. We in the building. Let me know what's good. I mean, let's see. What's going on, Shatera? What's good, sis? Jackson 2 times was good. Pure Black, what up? JB, what's going on? Who else came up in here? I might as well chop it up with the chat. If nobody hit the link, I'll chop it up with y'all, motherfuckers. I already said what's up to Corey. Who else new came up in here? Anybody knew while we was listening to all this shit? I don't see too many new people. All right. Aries stepped in the building. Was good, Aries. I didn't speak to you earlier. Was good. See, Lena came up in here. Was good, Lena. If you still listening, you might have fell asleep. Old student was good. Let's see. Shout out to everybody else out there might be listening. I slide through. If I missed you, my bad. But yeah, what do you say? You have to see the world through Yeezy vision. I know, right? You got, he says it's way too complicated. I know that's right. Hey, but hey, man, some people got that third eye, wide open, and they can see that Yeezy vision, right? That Yeezy vision is like 2020, right? Like, cause they got that third eye open, right? So they can see the messaging, crystal clear through their ball pause, right? And and when they doing their tarot card readings, and and talking to the zombies and shit, like they you gotta have that kind of, you gotta have the powers of a medium, y'all gotta step y'all game up, man. Y'all ain't woke. That's the problem. Anytime I see niggas excusing Kanye bullshit being genius, I know I'm dealing with some coon. I know that's right. Ain't nothing genius about coonery. Like, motherfuckers be trying, like, exactly, you dealing with some coons. Mother trying to philosophize coonery and shit. Trying to make it seem like that's some deep knowledge or some kind of pro-black for the people. Like, I'll tell you, that new wave of we gonna turn coonery into the new pro-black, like, that wave is insane to me, and I'm not listening to motherfuckers who talk like that. Like, no, what are we talking about here? But you got motherfuckers trying to make coonery the new pro-black. And it's like, no, we not doing that. At least not over here. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. You motherfuckers sound crazy to me. You pro-black, but everything coming out your mouth is coon shit. But then turn around and say you pro-black. I'm pro-black. I'm cool. My coonery is centered around my pro-blackness. I feel like it's what's best for our people is we need to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and leave white people alone. That's pro-black. That's pro-black. Leave white people alone. Pick yourself by the bootstraps. That's pro-blackness. All right. Right. Don't worry about white people. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. That's pro-black. Got it. But they try to coon under the guise of them being pro-black and shit. And they try to confuse people with nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't saying what they actually are saying. But it comes out, though. It comes out like during election years and shit. It comes out. That's when people can't hide that coonery. That's when you find these motherfuckers saying some of these wildest shit. Right? But that's when you get the truth out of motherfuckers. When it's time to code up, that's when you get the truth out of motherfuckers. Like, that don't sound very pro-black to me, motherfucker. I'm listening to you. That don't sound very pro-black to me. What are you talking about? What's the problem with reparations again? What are we worried about reparations for anyway? Y'all sound like y'all begging. Sound like y'all begging that white man reparations. Why you worried about reparations? He ain't never gonna give it to us. What you worried about reparations for? Blah, blah. That's what you know. That's what you know. I don't know no motherfucker who's pro-black who's against reparations. You against reparations, you probably there's a good chance you're not pro-black. You're pro something else. And you're trying to be under the guise of pro-blackness and shit as something else. You can get the fuck up out of here. This country up. And I don't know how anybody who's for black people don't understand that this country owes and ain't demanding what is owed to them and their lineage. Y'all are tripping. I don't even get that. But again, election years, the truth start coming out of motherfuckers. You start telling motherfuckers that, yeah, I'm voting for reparations. Fuck all that dumb shit you talking, man. I'm voting for who the fuck got reparations on the table. Oh, y'all over here worried about reparations? Man, fuck all that reparation shit. We ain't never gonna get it. Y'all sound like y'all begging. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing but spend it all up on Jordans. Y'all fuck up the money anyway. Blah, blah, blah. All that coon ass white supremacist apologetic bullshit. All right. It did turn around in the very next sentence, start talking about, yeah, I'm for my people. I love black people. And all, like, wait, what? That should be sounding crazy to me. But motherfuckers be playing in people's face with that shit. Right in their face, playing with their face. And everybody believe that shit. And then everybody running around here thinking that's the new pro-black. Shit on black people. Shit on reparations. Claim you everything but black. You an Abo, you a Hebrew, you an Egyptian, you're all this other wild ass shit. And that should be your main focus. That's pro-black. Yeah, in fact, don't even worry about politics. Worry about culture. Fuck politics. Worry about culture. Fuck social and economic issues. Worry about culture. Culture is the problem. Like that goddamn hippity-hoppity shit. All you hippity-hoppers, that's the goddamn problem while y'all worried about motherfucking white people. I need to leave them good white folk alone and start worried about what's really killing the community, that hippity-hoppity shit. Y'all need to stop listening to all that hippity-hoppity garbage. Hip-hop. Everybody killing everybody. Hip-hop. It's y'all fault. All you hippity-hoppers. Hip-hop. Just hippity-hoppity all across the goddamn place. Hippity-hopping in places y'all don't need to be. Hip-hop. It's y'all fault. Y'all bring that kill culture. That drill culture. You're fucking up the community. It's culture. Hip-hop. You fix our culture and our music and we'll be all right. Y'all letting those small hats use y'all to push that garbage to our community. You freak booty, baby oil wearing ass motherfuckers. That's what be happening. That's what be happening. Let's be honest here. It be these culture motherfuckers. These culture motherfuckers something else, man. These culture motherfuckers that drive you nuts. Don't get me started with these culturalists. These culturalists, oh my fucking goodness. Oh, they drive me fucking nuts. So, and they be the most pseudo motherfuckers too. Like social political motherfuckers don't really be pseudo. And even if they do got a little bit of pseudo, they not like religious with it. They might got a little bit of pseudo in them and they keep it to themselves with that. But for the most part, they not even really, you wouldn't even know because they don't talk to you about their pseudo shit, right, guy? Because they keep it that shit type shit to themselves because they ain't that important, right? It's just some pseudo shit they might happen to maybe believe or lean towards or something like that. But you wouldn't even know because they don't talk about that shit, right? But for the most part, these culturalists though, these motherfuckers say, yeah, fuck politics. You know, these motherfuckers, all these abos, these Egyptomaniacs, these goddamn, these religious people and all these culture ass motherfuckers. Culture is about culture. You know, all these motherfuckers, all these dating motherfuckers, all these motherfuckers love talking about dating and relationships and all those weirdos. I ain't gonna forget them motherfuckers too. They culture nationalists. All these goddamn. I'm sorry, I gotta say what it's just the goddamn truth. You bougie eaters. You bougie eaters about with diets and everything. Yo, these people motherfuckers be pseudo. These motherfuckers be pseudo as fuck, yo. All this culture shit be pseudo as fuck. Oh my goodness. Now, I ain't saying everybody's pseudo that I just mentioned, but God be damn, if you run into a pseudo, I promise you they hold these motherfucking beliefs. I promise you that. It's not by accident that these pseudos hold these fucking beliefs. Let's keep it a fucking buck. Let's keep it a buck. These pseudos they all fall under that umbrella of culturalists, right? All that shit I just mentioned, all that culture shit I just mentioned, you know, all these, the abos, the gyptos, the motherfucking, you know what I mean? The Hebrews, the Negroes, you know, the Asiatics, you know, the motherfucking, you know, all these motherfuckers, the dating coaches, you know, the life coaches, you know what I mean? The motherfucking, all these motherfuckers. Who else I mentioned? Who else? I'm forgetting some people. Y'all know all these culture ass motherfuckers. All these motherfuckers that love talking about culture, right? It's about culture. You ain't got to worry about, you know, all these motherfuckers that's anti-politics, right? Oh, y'all always don't talk about politics. It's all about culture. These anti-hip-hop motherfuckers. You know what I mean? All these motherfuckers. They the diet motherfuckers too. Yes, the diet and the holistic motherfuckers. The holistic diet motherfuckers. Like, I promise you, every pseudo you run into is going to hold, if not one, but multiple of those motherfucking beliefs I just got finished talking about. I promise you. They follow at least one, if not multiple, of those fucking ideologies. I promise you that. These motherfuckers, them culturalists, these are the pseudos. These motherfuckers be hella pseudo, son. That should be crazy. Yo, these motherfuckers be pseudo as hell, and they get so mad when you talk about that shit. I'm like, yo, listen, man, y'all gotta stop this culture shit, man. This culture shit is subjective, man. I don't want to argue with you motherfuckers about y'all subjective bullshit. I mean, I argue when y'all culture shit gets into history and all, ahistorical bullshit, then I'm gonna check that shit, right? But as far as like how we supposed to be living and all this other shit, anything else, man, all that shit is subjective. Kick rocks. I don't give a fuck about none of that dumb shit y'all talking about. I really don't. Live your life how you living your life, whatever. Just stop coming around me with that pseudo ass motherfucking history, that pseudo ass fucking scientific motherfucking, like, stop. Pseudo science, pseudo history, pseudo archaeology, pseudo motherfucking intellectuals. Like, just stay away from me with that dumb shit. And just go do that dumb shit over there, motherfucker. And I'm cool. But all the motherfuckers hold these wild beliefs though, man. They all fall under this category, dog. This culture shit, dog. All this culture shit. Second motherfucker coming back around me, hyper focusing on culture, I know I'm dealing with a pseudo. The second a motherfucker comes in, derails the whole fucking conversation to make it about fucking culture, I know I'm dealing with a motherfucking pseudo. It's only a matter of time. What kind of pseudo am I dealing with? That's all. That's the only thing that's floating in my mind. What kind of pseudo is about the motherfucker? Like, what am I about to deal with right now? What? Because I'm about to deal with some pseudo ass fuck shit. I'm totally about to deal with some pseudo fuck shit. And you about to beat my head up, pause, and try to convince me that your pseudo ass culture is the way to fucking go. And now we arguing over your pseudo ass culture. And like, this is what happens. This is what happens. It's just crazy. But yeah, these culturalists, I'm over them weirdos. I'm over it. How about I don't bring shit to the table but make-believe and feel-good stories? Make-believe and feel-good stories. That's what you motherfuckers bring to the goddamn table. That shit means nothing to me. Nothing. I stopped playing make-believe when I was a little-ass fucking kid. I'm talking single digits. I was single digits the last time I was motherfucking playing make-believe, motherfucker. I'm a grown-ass fucking man, dog. The fuck I look like still playing motherfucking make-believe with you motherfuckers. I get up on here and play make-believe with grown-ass motherfucking people and shit. This is disgusting. What are we talking about?
I'm a grown-ass man, dog.
Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Social media created and housed a cesspool of that shit. Yes. Especially places like TikTok and dumb shit like that. Yes. Absolutely. Cesspool of fuck shit. And it's problematic. Like why is motherfuckers in such deep need to find this secret hidden knowledge? Like, the search of the hidden secret knowledge is what's fucking our brains up. We gotta stop thinking there's some secret hidden knowledge out there. That's what's fucking our brains up. That's what's fucking our head up. Because we looking for information under the idea that there's hidden information out there to be achieved. When the information that's out there that you can gain is not hidden. It's not forbidden. It's not no kooky, weird conspiracy to keep the truth from you. Right? Any information you're looking for is out there. It ain't no motherfucking secret. If they wrote a book about it, obviously it wasn't no motherfucking secret. If it was the worst kept secret ever because they wrote a whole book about it. Right? So if they try to keep shit away from us, then why is all these motherfucking books being written? If motherfuckers trying to keep the truth away from us, these books wouldn't be written. We gotta stop thinking there's some weird conspiracy to keep truth from us. No. Truth right there in your motherfucking faces. Y'all just too busy looking past the truth to try to find some other fucking truth that don't motherfucking exist. When the real truth is right there in your fucking face. Exactly, Shatera. How'd you find it? Exactly. If the shit secret, hidden, forbidden, how the fuck did you find it? How you even know it exists? You shouldn't even know it exists. Much less being able to find it on Google of all fucking things. Like, you the only motherfucker who got Googles? You the only motherfucker who got Google, huh? They kept it hidden for everybody else because you're the only person who got the Google motherfucker, the Google research. Nobody else is able to get their Googles on.
Do your Googles, nigga. What the fuck you gonna do, nigga?
Y'all motherfuckers are hilarious. Y'all hilarious with that shit. Hidden, forbidden, secret knowledge. Like, second motherfucker start talking that dumb shit, you lost me. You lost me, nigga. Ain't nothing hidden, secret, or forbidden about any knowledge you about to motherfucker speak. It probably is make-believe anyway. It's probably a whole fucking fairy tale. But you know what I mean? Like, question, shit probably ain't even real. He's stupid. He's lost his mind. He's in a mental facility. I don't know where Stupee's at. He done disappeared from the channel. He done with this channel. That goddamn that election fucked him up. He's like, fuck Psycho channel. I'm over it. Them goddamn Trump supporters over there get on my fucking nerves. I hate them son of bitches. Nah, Stupee's ain't been back since the election. That motherfucker ain't been back since the election. Stupee's he legit dipped off. He jumped ship. They said they saw him somewhere. I don't know. That motherfucker like Bigfoot now. It's like they be having Stupee sightings, but I don't never see the motherfucker. I just hear about the sightings and shit. You know, motherfuckers give me pictures of screenshots, but the screenshots be a little blurry and shit. So I can't really make the screenshots out. So this motherfucker like Bigfoot and shit, right? Like I hear stories of his existence, but I never could find concrete evidence of such. So I don't know what the fuck going on with Stupee's Bigfoot stories. I don't know what the fuck is good with that shit. That shit is weird, but yeah. You might be ducking. Yeah, might be ducking. yeah. That's a safe bet. He definitely like Bigfoot right now. There's definitely some cryptic shit going on. Stupee's like, fuck that. I ain't fucking with y'all motherfuckers. I ain't doing Stupee's if you listening. I ain't do it. I ain't vote for the motherfucker. You can't blame me, Stupee. Can't blame me. I ain't vote for him, and my whole state was blue. Even though this is the most Republican they ever voted for a president in my lifetime. Republicans got the most votes in Jersey this election in my lifetime. They still was blue. Don't get it fucked up. Jersey was still blue, but Jersey is dangerously becoming close to being a swing state. Oh, I would love it if my state become a swing state. I ain't gonna lie to you. If my state become a swing state, I'll love that shit. Then my vote holds more weight. If my state becomes a swing state, my vote holds more weight then. I would love for this motherfucker to turn purple. I would love for it to turn purple. Oh my goodness. That'd be a beautiful thing. I need my vote to hold more weight. My vote don't hold as much weight in this state as it could in another state. But if it turns purple, my vote immediately shoots up. Immediately. I would love my vote to mean more. Word up. I'm ready to cook. I'm ready to cook both of these motherfuckers. Fuck these motherfuckers. I'm ready to tear them all down. These motherfuckers, they fractured. It's time to strike. They panicking over here. They up here going through motherfucking therapy. They distraught. They fucked up in the head. They don't know which direction they should be going. They don't know if they should go left or right. They fighting amongst each other, bickering. Motherfuckers threatening to start third parties. Everything else, the right wing is also fractured. They gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do post-Trump. So they kind of stuck right now. They don't know which way they want to go. So they kind of fractured as well. And everything, they don't know if they should pair to this new base and try to get more of them, or should they just rock this whole old wave out? They confused. Both parties fractured. Prime ready to be taken down. I'm ready. Like, the Getting's good, man. Getting was already good. This was a year to do it. But motherfuckers be too shook. Motherfuckers be too shook, man. These party loyalists, man. They too shook. Oh yeah, that TYT squabbling they doing. Yeah. Yeah, I've been covering some of that shit. That shit is actually hilarious. But I've been called that shit out though, man. I called that shit out a couple of years ago. That's why it was a running joke over here, because I was calling them motherfuckers the conservative progressives and shit. Like, I was calling them conservative progressives, right? Like, playing up on the fact that these motherfuckers really ain't progressive like that. Like, these motherfuckers over here, they using a lot of white wing talking points. Like, they starting to subscribe to a lot of this white wing rhetoric. You know what I mean? Like, I peeped this shit with a lot of shit. Like I said, that affirmative action shit, I saw a different side of them then. I was like, oh, really? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so that's y'all position on affirmative action being taken away? Okay. And then I started seeing some other things and everything else that third. I'm like, oh yeah, y'all motherfuckers, I see something going on over here. And then Anna started losing her shit. Like, I ain't a part of the left no more. Like, yeah, I kind of saw that. Now they arguing with mayors and shit and everything else. It's starting to get racial. She's starting to get cookie crunch with these motherfucking these race baiting ass coon ass content creators. She retweeting these coon ass niggas. You know what I mean? These little race baiting ass weirdos. She's starting to fall. She's starting to use them as a Negro mouthpiece. And you know, that's a typical white wing tactic. Find you a good house nigga to motherfucking say what it is you want to say to the black people. So that's what she been doing. She been letting these black motherfuckers, these coon ass niggas, speak for her. Yeah, people unsubbing left and right. Yeah, I know. They losing their shit. They lost the trannies and the trans supporters are gone. They starting to lose the black supporters now. Now they starting to lose the black supporters. First they lost the tranny supporters, right? The tranny supporters jumped out the window on them motherfuckers and they was gone. They jumped off that train. So they was the first ones to get pissed off at them and leave. So the tranny people are gone. The black people are starting to leave now. Now you got the black people, they starting to leave. So they rebranding. TYT is totally rebranding right now. They trying to become more of a centrist type platform, and Anna's gonna probably be the more white wing talking head, with Chink being the centrist, and they're gonna find some coon ass nigga to probably be the leftist motherfucker, and they're gonna try to play that little lane. That's what I think they're gonna try to do. But progressive platform, they no longer are. I think that's safe to say. But yeah, that TYT shit is hilarious though. They getting cooked. They getting cooked by a lot of motherfuckers. I'm like, oh well. Sarah, motherfucker. Who cares? I don't give a fuck. The motherfuckers, they did enough that fuck them motherfuckers. I don't want to hear the motherfuckers crying either. There's a part of that goddamn coat. Same coat that's turned their backs on TYT and TYT is mad at and everything that. Y'all's a part of that goddamn coat. I don't want to hear you motherfuckers crying about that shit now. Y'all's a part of that goddamn coat. Y'all pushed a lot of that coat bullshit. And now your ass want to switch coats. You want to switch religions and shit. Fuck out of here. You just jumping from one coat to the next. So now you don't subscribe to this coat behavior, but you're cool with that coat behavior. You're nuts. So I'm not listening to them weirdos. Them motherfuckers are crazy. I listen to them for certain stories and shit like that. And actually, I actually like to point out that some of the fuck shit they say too, because they be saying a lot of fuck shit. But I don't listen to them motherfuckers as far as like put a lot of credibility behind their opinions and shit, right? You know, the story is what the story is, but as far as their opinions, I take them shits with a grain of salt. You know, they try not to even be independent media anymore. They trying to be more mainstream. That's their attempt. They attempted to be more mainstream now. This was mainstream at one point in time. They had a spot on, what was it, MSNBC? They had a whole show over there at one point. And that didn't work out too long. I think they had a show for like a year, maybe a season or some shit like that. They already played around in the mainstream lane. Oh, that's my shit. Okay, we good. We good. I thought my shit was acting up again. Yep. Shit's slow tonight, family. I got shit I could be doing. I got shit I gotta do tomorrow. So since it's light right now, there ain't too many people around, and I'm gonna go ahead and I guess I'll get ready to end this early and get me some early sleep, because I got shit I gotta do in the morning, truth be told. I really do. I really shouldn't even be trying to pull all nighter and no shit. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to end this one, family. So yeah, family. As always, if you haven't already, please do me a favor and please click like, share, and subscribe. It's very important that you click like. It gets me in the algorithm. It's also important that you share. It lets people know I'm breathing. And it's also important that you subscribe, right, family? And after you subscribe, family, please don't forget to hit that notification bell. Very important to hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I do go live. You can get here bright and early. Don't miss none of the show. And then you can be a part of the notification gang, right? And yes, to the haters out there, you already know what it is. It's about that time. If you haven't already and you want to express yourself, you can do so now by please clicking dislike. Please still share this motherfucker though. Don't be selfish. But you might want to think about unsubscribing, right? Because if you had any issues with anything you heard here tonight, you best believe you're going to hear some more again later. So you might as well go ahead and get it on out the way right now, right? And yeah, family, please consider becoming a Patreon. If you do, you have access to any stream I do, whether I keep it up or whether I take it down. You also have access to exclusive content that I have on there. And I also have no limits on my Patreon. Whatever you feel like the channel's worth, that's what you donate. All donation given does go towards the production of the show, as always. And yes, family, please follow me on Twitter and the Gram and on Clubhouse and on TikTok and on Rumble as SYKOPATHeist, spelled the same way as the channel. And yes, family, as always, I want to shout out everybody out in the live chat. I appreciate all y'all for coming through. Shout out to Mod Deep. I also want to shout out everybody that was out in the clouds, that was just listening and being nosy. Even the hate watchers who are my biggest fans and listen to every word I say. I want to give a peace and black power to everybody out there. Holla black at your boy. I'm out.
Coming real, it's the next episode.
Hold up. Hey, for my niggas who be thinking we soft, we don't play. We gon' rock it till the wheels fall off. Hold up. Hey, for my niggas who be acting too bold, take a seat. Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey, smoke weed every day.